Okay, I think my technical difficulties are over. I hope. See if we can get anybody in here real quick. Just updating some posts here. Should be good to go. Should be good to go. All right. So, political compass tests. They are an interesting thing, and they can teach you a lot about things, and they can also be wildly inaccurate. Although, I always find it funny when people are like, those compass tests aren't very accurate. And then, they don't even understand their own ideology kind of thing. But that's kind of the point tonight that I want to point out is I do think what's important is understanding what your actual views are and what they relate to in terms of politics. And to demonstrate why I think this is important, I thought it would be funny to show you this video I watched earlier. Right here.
Why?
Let me see if I can find this still shot. It's right from the very beginning of the show.
In different forms of government, about being more in the idea of this. The higher up on the compass the ideology is, the more authoritative.
Oh, here it is. Okay. So, right here, he's going to explain kind of the political axis. This is from the classic Sapley test that a lot of people understand the difference between left, right, where left is a more socialist leaning type government. Right wing is a more capitalist. And he shows somebody sent into him this square with all these different political ideologies that fall all over the place across the standard 4-axis system. Now, I want to bunk that and tell you about the 12-axis quiz, which is on politicaltest.github.io. I think it is the more useful one. It's the more valuable one. That's the deal. So, without further ado, I want to jump into mine and go through it here, and let you know that once we're going to try and hurry through mine. This is a long test, 288 questions. I want to talk about where I fall on it, because after I get mine done, and hopefully I can do that in the next 50 minutes here, I want to bring in Steven, and we're going to do one with Steven. So we'll probably go into a little bit less detail on questions very quickly, and we're just going to try and hurry through and get to results here. So let's hit it. Let's do it. Let's go. Hope you're buckled in for an interesting discussion tonight. All right, number one, if we accept migrants at all, it's important that they assimilate into our culture. I'm going to say partially agree. I don't really like the framing there. I do think some assimilation is not just important, necessary. So, partially. Children should be educated in religious values. Strongly disagree. Traditional medicines are often more effective than modern medicines. Strongly disagree. Hold on. Apparently my YouTube on my phone just started playing. Not sure what was that about. All right, government should not regulate the economy at all. Couldn't disagree with more of that. Strongly disagree. We should put effort into getting a person on Mars in the near future. Near future. I'm gonna say disagree. I don't like strongly disagree. I don't really care about this. Without economic regulation, monopolies will dominate the entire market. I do think that eventually that is true. I think eventually monopolies take over things. But entire is a broad stroke. I think there are certain type of markets that lend themselves to not. I mean, what's your definition of entire? I'm just going to say agree. State laws should have precedence over national laws. Strongly disagree with that. Strongly disagree with that. Precedence? No. Should they be important? Yes. But federal law should definitely overrule the state. Otherwise, what's the point of the federal? Genetic modification should be used rarely, if ever. I mean, I'm going to say strongly disagree. I feel pretty against this. Like, if it's good, then we should do it. Like, if genetic modification makes something better, or makes us healthier, or makes a better product, let's do it. Modern tech and the modern lifestyle made life meaningless and dull. Man, that's tempting, isn't it? I'm actually going to say partially agree on that. I do think in some ways that is partially true. Creationism is a myth. Strongly agree. States cannot function without a strong national government. I mean, I disagree with that in some sense, but at the same point, like, a true confederacy where the states have their own independent ruling and the federal government is there as just a more like national, like, military unifying force, that's never actually worked because states are too small and too localized to maintain their own economies and something like that. So I'm going to say partially agree. The United Nations should have a military to enforce its resolutions. I strongly disagree with that. I don't think the UN should have its own military. I think asking partner countries to do it is fine. Our culture would be better with other cultures mixed in more? I agree with that. Class war is real and is a real and important issue. I would say agree. I support, yeah, strongly agree. Although I don't like that they put all of LGBTQ in one movement. Trade is often beneficial to both parties. Partially agree. You never know. Sometimes there's underlying things. Planned economies never perform as well as free market economies. I think this is implying like central planning, like with the central government. I mean, there are certain, I'm going to say partially disagree with that. Like, never perform is a strong term. I mean, there are certain cases where, actually, I'm going to say a full disagree here. There are definitely things that are quote-unquote planned or centralized that work better than a free market does, like certain industries. So yeah, disagree. Society was better many years ago than it is now. I never really liked the framing of this question, but overall, I strongly disagree. The elders in society know the best path for it. Couldn't disagree with that more. Taxation is theft. Yeah, strongly disagree. Taxation is a duty. Only our national languages should be spoken in our country. Strongly disagree there. Racist as fuck. Only those who serve in the military should be allowed to have influence on who is in power. Strongly disagree with that. The important that we maintain traditions. Strongly disagree. If AI could rule more effectively than humans, then AI should rule. Ooh, am I comfortable with a technocracy? I'm going to say partially agree with that in general. In general. Like, if we actually determined that the AI was better at doing stuff than we did, I'm not afraid to turn things over to computers. That's where it's heading anyway. A nation's culture is important to protect. I have a problem with what a concept of a nation's culture is. Nations don't have culture. Like, groups of people do. Groups of people are not a nation. A nation is a fake thing that we created. Ethnic cultures are important to protect. I would agree with that. I'm going to say disagree here. Nations fighting among each other get in the way of progress. Yeah. Do nations fighting amongst each other get in the way of progress? Strongly agree. International trade is generally beneficial. I'd agree with that. It's usually not a bad call. The right to bear arms should not be infringed. Yeah, strongly disagree. I could give a shit about that, right? I don't think that, like, infringing on it, maybe not. Limiting it, restricting it, understanding the dangers of, absolutely. We have no right to military intervene in other nations. I'm going to say strongly agree. Intervene, no. Defend, yes. That's a very different thing. National cultures are important. Again, don't agree with the concept of a national culture. So I'm going to strongly disagree here. No need for a national government. Disagree. State knows best what an economy needs. Yeah. Disagree with that as well. Foreign products are as good as local products. I mean, that's really depends on the product. I'm going to say neutral because I don't like that question. Theocracy is good. Strongly disagree. An ideal nation must mostly stay neutral during foreign affairs. Ideal nation must stay neutral during foreign affairs. I don't agree with this. I think that there are right and wrong sides. Like, no one should have stayed neutral to what Hitler was doing. So I'm going to disagree. Foreign products should be banned or heavily restricted from entry. I'll disagree with that. Local governments can understand their citizens better than the national government could. I mean, I agree with that. I do think you need local representatives. I think that's why a republic works fairly well. I'll just say agree there. Public opinion swings too much with emotional events to be useful for policy making. The anti-democracy question. I don't strongly disagree with this. I do think there's some merit to it. But in general, I disagree. I think we got to go with the popular opinion most of the time. Government surveillance is necessary in the modern world. To some degree, it is, but it depends on what you mean of surveillance. Surveillance of private individual citizens without due process, definitely disagree. So I'm going to say disagree. Without tariffs, my country's economic will likely fail. Strongly disagree. Hate tariffs. Tariffs are fucking stupid. A group of states without a strong national government is merely an alliance, not a nation. Interesting. I don't think it matters. It is technically an alliance. It definitely lacks a unifying body. I think I'll partially agree. A constant state of war benefits a country. Strongly disagree with that. It's the worst thing you can do. The government should control the market as minimally as possible. Control is the word here that gives me pause. The way it's asked, control the market? I don't like control. Like, regulation is different than control, right? I'll partially disagree with that. If they said regulate the market as minimally as possible, I would be a strongly disagree. But because they say control, I'll partially disagree. I think we need to control some things. Military spending is a waste of money. I will say partially agree. We need some military spending. I do believe in peace through strength, but not strength to the rate of 20 times every other nation like we do. It's fucking stupid. Most, if not all, businesses must be owned by the government. Strongly disagree with that. That's just weird. It depends on the business. Most businesses have no business being intertwined with government. They should be regulated by government. It's a totally different story. In general, immigrants are bad for the country. Disagree. I'm not going to say strongly disagree, because if you're like bringing in more immigrants than what your country actually has, like there's definitely a line where this gets crossed, but I'm going to just disagree. War is needed to make an economy thrive. Strongly disagree. Only buy products that are made in my country. Strongly disagree. The government should not regulate the economy. Strongly disagree on that. That is like an extremist position. UBI is a better means of providing welfare when compared to the current welfare system. Strongly agree. Much better than the current welfare system. People should have the right to leave their wealth to their descendants. I don't think people have a right to amass the levels of wealth they do as it stands right now. So, but I don't feel strongly on that. I'll say disagree. It's kind of... Taxation should be voluntary or abolished. Strongly disagree. Benefits of open borders would outweigh the costs. In some cases that might be true. I'll partially disagree though. Representatives rarely represent the nation well. Yeah, well, we haven't... I'll partially agree. We haven't done it right yet, but that's because other interests have gotten involved. If we continue human technological progress, humanity is doomed. I mean, this might be a hot take, but I think I agree. I don't know how to stop it, or I don't even know if we should stop it. But if we continue progress in the way we have been unchecked, I think we are going to open a black box. So I'll agree. Immigrants are a net positive. Generally, I agree. Catering to your popular opinion is detrimental to a nation. Strongly disagree. In order for humanity to survive, we must get past having separate nations. I do think that's eventually true. I don't know how far down the road, but human cooperation is clearly going to have to go beyond nation states. So I'll strongly agree. To chase progress at all costs is dangerous. Strongly agree. Yeah, no, I never like at all costs. Nothing ever should be done with at all costs. Laws should not be based on religion. Strongly agree. Economic regulation causes more harm than good. Strongly disagree. Intervention has caused more harm than good. I assume that means military intervention, not like... Yeah, agree. That needs to be asked better. All societies are a blend of cultures. Yeah, I generally agree with that. Humanity is past the point at which war is needed for resources. Strongly agree. Support regional unions such as the European Union. Yeah, I do. Nobody in other countries has our best interests in mind. Yeah, I disagree with that in principle. I think there are plenty of people that have the whole world's best interests in mind, or at least they do their best to. The more people ask, the better chance there is of reaching the best decision. Partially disagree. That's a weird question. My country spends too much money on the military. Could not agree more. Strongly. Most bad things happening in the world are caused by us turning away from religion. Strongly disagree. I think turning away from religion is the most important thing we could do. Regulations on industries must be implemented to protect the environment. Oh, yeah. Let's go. Hello, people. No one is just, hey, environment, let me be nice to you, even if there's profit to be horrible. No one's doing that. There should not be an international law. I don't think there should be a concept of international in the first place. Like, I do believe we should eventually progress to where there's no longer nation states. Like, I think that's the ultimate ending of progress. So, I mean, I sort of agree with that sentiment. I'll partially agree. That's a weird one. The government actively works with large corporations to destroy small businesses. Actively, no. I do think it's a consequence of what happens. I think I'll partially agree. An unregulated economy will never succeed. Depends on your definition of succeed. I mean, succeed at making a profit for a small number of people really well, yes. Succeed at being sustainable, no. I want to partially disagree with that. I don't like that question. No authority should be left unquestioned. Couldn't agree more. White guilt is sometimes justified. Yeah, I mean, generally. Direct democracy is the best form of government. Disagree. Definitely not. Could open up a huge can of worms. State and local laws should have precedence over national laws. Strongly disagree. National law must be first and foremost. There are rare cases where it works out the other way. International aid is a waste of money most of the time. I'm only going to say partially disagree here. I think there's an argument to be made that setting an example for how to do things better is a priority. Now, I don't think it's ever a waste of money to help out a nation that's struggling through a disaster or something like that. Government should prioritize my country over all others. Partially agree. I mean, in the meantime, as the world is still industrializing and getting better, like, yeah, for now, people shouldn't have to work for anything they get. Couldn't disagree with that more. National government needs more power. Partially disagree. It's pretty powerful. It's just bad at wielding it. It's dysfunctional. It's different. Export subsidies should be used for protecting local industries. I partially agree here. Not a strong one for me. My religious values should be spread as much as possible. No. Keep that shit to yourself. Anybody out there in chat tonight? We're doing a quiz. We're having some fun. Private charities are a better means of helping the poor than public welfare. If that was the case, we wouldn't have any poverty. It is that we live in the wealthiest country on earth, and yet millions of children are struggling with hunger. Like, no. Private charity is not a better means of helping the public. There's no reason why we can't eliminate poverty in the United States. Strongly disagree. An absolute monarchy is preferable than a liberal democracy. I want to know the person that's still like, we need kings back. Couldn't disagree more. Technology must be slowed down to protect the environment. I don't know that that's true. I think that we must make technology that protects the environment, and that might be a more accelerationist view. I'm going to disagree. Traditions are important. Traditions are fucking stupid. Strongly disagree. Traditions have absolutely zero value to me. Come at me, chat. Come at me in the comments. It's not important. Anything that you do should be worth doing for the merits of the result of that action. If the merit of the tradition is bad, if the tradition has no merit, then it's stupid. If the tradition is good, it's because the thing that the tradition has you do is worthy of doing. It's just stupid. Traditions suck. As a concept. The government should not fund any religious organization. Completely agree. Laws should vary from area to area and culture. I mean, partially. Sometimes that's true. I do think some state law is necessary over transhumanism isn't as radical as many people think it is. No, it's really a radical concept. Let's look this up. Transhumanism. Transhumanism, social and philosophical movement devoted to promoting the research and development of robust human enhancement technologies. Such technologies would augment or increase human sensory reception, emotive ability, or cognitive capacity, as well as radically improve human health and extend human lifespans. The question is, isn't as radical as many people think it is. Just because something is radical doesn't make it bad. So I'm going to disagree with that. It is as radical as people think it is, but it's radically awesome, maybe. Or maybe it's radically, tragically bad. Who knows? Most economic problems we see today are not caused by capitalism, but by government. Yeah, disagree. Holy shit, strongly disagree. Everybody should speak at least 2 languages. I actually partially agree with that, even though I can't. Global economic cooperation will generally lead to positive outcomes. Yeah. I strongly agree. I think we need to be cooperating globally. Big fan of that idea. Many issues don't make sense to address at a local level. Yeah. Traditions are no value on their own. Strongly agree. Religion and government should be eliminated. Strongly agree. Only those who serve in the military? Strongly disagree. Foreigners should never... Strongly disagree. Nation must obey its leadership without question? Strongly disagree. So there's like roads should be publicly owned? Yep. Government must be by the people, for the people. Couldn't agree more. It's the only reason the government has power. Most, if not all, economic crises are caused by government intervention. Strongly disagree. Most economic crises are caused by capitalism's and inherent instability. National government can't understand what the people need. I disagree with that. Yeah, it can, if it wants to. It depends on how functioning the government is. There's lots of countries that understand what their people need. More important to retain peaceful relationships than to further our strength. Yeah. Alliances are more important for protecting? Absolutely. Consider myself an atheist? Yep. Strong states weaken a nation. Partially disagree. Must be allowed to follow a religion? Strongly agree with that. Yeah, you're allowed to follow whatever you want. Just don't bring it into the government. Democracy is more than a decision-making process. I tend to agree with that. I mean, there's a lot more to it. Tradition just centers the progress of humanity. Strongly agree. My religion is true. I don't have one. Strongly disagree. Illegal immigrants, no religion can be true. Illegal immigrants should be deported in most or all cases. Most or all? I'm going to say... disagree. Countries that violate human rights should be toppled. Toppled by other countries, I think is the implication here, in which case I really strongly disagree with that. Their governments should be toppled, but by their own citizens. Government must intervene in foreign exchange market to higher import prices. disagree with that. If you have nothing to hide, then you have nothing to fear. No, that's not true. Necessary for the government to intervene in the economy to protect consumers? Strongly agree. Military option should always be considered? Strongly disagree. World must cooperate together in terms of economics. Strongly agree. Believe in higher power? No. Countries fall apart with constant war? Yes. Oppose human genetic modification? Definitely not. I'm a transhumanist. Sort of. Environmental regulations are essential. Yes. Religion must decline for society. Oh my god, yes. People's freedom should have no limits. Strongly disagree. Equality of outcome is important. Partially agree. Partially. That's too broad. You can't do that. Like, you're not good enough to do that. A country cannot function without a national government. I agree with that, generally. Some freedom must be given up in order to keep people safe. Partially disagreed. Almost never needed. Developing alternative tech is a better means of helping the government than environmental regulations? Yeah, no. We should use government to promote developing alternative tech. Local products are often poor in quality. Like what? Disagree with that. It's a good idea to test policy in one state rather than implementing it nationwide. I mean, partially, so that's sometimes true. Must be a separation between church and state. Hell yeah. Local governments address issues that the national government would never touch without them. Sure. Partially agree. Wealthy have far more than they need. Yes. Nations should cooperate whenever it benefits them both. Yes. A hierarchical state is best. Partially... I'm going to say neutral on that. I have no idea what that question is asking. Alliances can pose a threat to a nation's sovereignty. Can? I mean, sure. Partially agree. Technical and scientific knowledge should be protected from other countries. Partially agree with that. I mean, there are other countries where you can't guarantee that their motives are good. Subdivision of nations should have their own militaries. Couldn't disagree more. National government must be strong to adequately protect all its citizens. Agree with that generally. Privatization need for economic success. Needed? I'm going to partially disagree. I think there's ways to do it other ways that we just haven't figured out. Must return to a primitive lifestyle? Not needed. The freer the market, the freer the people. Nope. High tariffs are needed? Nope. Communism, if implemented correctly, would be a good form of economics. I mean, economics, by definition, is how money functions and capital functions. Communism is a stateless, moneyless, classless society. So, I don't really understand that. But I'll say it would be a better form of trade, so I'll say partially agree. We must actively promote foreign products? No. Abortion should be legal? It's pretty broad. I'll just say agree. Immigrants should be expected to learn the language of the country? I'm going to say partially agree. I mean, I think it's useful. I think they will go a lot further. I'm going to say partially disagree. I don't like the word expected in there. That's a complicated issue. Humanity has progressed beyond the need for religion. Strongly agree. Maintaining family values? That's code for hating gays. There should be a compulsory military service. Fuck that. Autocracy is the best way to rule it. Also, fuck that. Every person has unalienable rights, including the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. I mean, yeah. My nation should stay out of international affairs. Affairs is weird to say. I'm going to say disagree. The threat of machines taking over humanity is very real. Partially disagree. The country must be sure to take all measures to enforce its laws. All measures? Strongly disagree. Military action by your nation is often necessary to protect it. Strongly disagree. Taxation is theft. Strongly disagree. Parents should be protected and prevent other countries from outcompeting. I'm going to partially disagree there. It's a weird one. Government must maintain strong military. Somewhat agree. Affirmative action is mostly beneficial. I think it was for a time. I'll say partially agree. I think it's getting pointless now. Religion is beneficial? No. Government should have access to all the emails suspected? No. I enjoy some foreign cultures? Hell yeah. Strongly agree. Laws should be completely consistent within all regions of a nation. Partially disagree with that. Yeah, for sure it should. Government should encourage local production and consumption. Disagree. Free market should be extended towards global trade as well. Partially disagree with that. In general, free markets aren't free. Capital begets capital. That seems like a good way to screw over poor countries. All products should be made in my country. No. Genetic modification force for good, even on humans. So far, so good. Genetic mod is so far so good. I'll agree. United World Government would be benefited. Yeah, I do really think that it would. Most of all, not for inherently evil. I don't like the term evil. I don't agree with that. I prefer a planned economy over a free and open economy. Partially disagree. I don't like central planning. Religious organizations often provide better assistance to the poor than the government does. Strongly disagree. People should moral loyalty to their local state. I don't agree in loyalty in any case. I'm going to say neutral. We should be taking more refugees. Partially agree. Sacrifice of some civil liberties is necessary to protect us. Disagree with that. Economies and capitalism collapsed again. Without capitalism, I think there were economies that existed before capitalism that were perfectly functioning. I disagree here. General populace makes poor decisions. Disagree. Nations should not maintain a military. In a perfect world, that would be true, but for right now, I'm going to disagree. Classes should not exist. That's where you're getting me a little bit closer to communism. I'll partially agree with that. Nobody but me can adequately represent my views. Partially disagree with that. But I see where it's coming from. My nation's better than all other nations? No. Most organized, yeah, they do. Government should be concerned about foreign citizens. They are with them. Disagree. Having independent nations with the risk of global conflict creates a large threat to humanity as a whole. Some would agree there. Sex before marriage is immoral. It's immoral. No, it's not. Have fun. Have sex. Be safe. Wear a condom. No cultures are superior to others. Couldn't agree more. Actually, I'm going to go back. I actually disagree with this. I don't know. I read it wrong in my head. There are definitely some cultures that are not preferable. I definitely disagree with this general sentiment. There are ways to judge cross-culturally. Taxation is too complex and should be simplified. In general, I agree with that. For the United States, very existence of the state is a threat to our liberty. Partially agree. Any deals for countries? Partially disagree. No higher power, yes. Better to maintain a balanced budget than to ensure welfare? Hell no. Economic globalization is available. Yep. Victimless crimes should not be crimes at all. Yep. Excessive government intervention is a threat to the economy. Excessive? Absolutely. National government protects minorities better than some local governments do. Yeah. Gender is a social construct. Absolutely it is. Whistleblowers are good for... Yep. United Nations should be abolished? Hell no. Government should support only recognize one religion. No. Economic planning ensures maximum prosperity and growth. Disagree. Must preserve our culture. Partially disagree. Government should monitor all citizens to combat terrorism. Strongly disagree. People born to wealthy families have unfair success when they weren't skilled to work hard. Strongly agree. The United Nations needs more power? I don't know if it's more power they need. I think it's more functionality, more resolve, more... They just need more W's on the books. I'm gonna say partially disagree. No need for disagree. Marijuana should be legal. Hell yeah. Society has become too progressive. Definitely not. Capitalism is better than any existing alternative? That's not true. Those who disagree with the government should be removed from the country. No. Socialism, I just can't even believe that that's a question that somebody might answer yes to. Socialism will never and will never work. That's just like written wrong, but yeah, strongly disagree. I prefer collectivism over individualism. Yes. Local governments give each region good representation of their views. Partially disagree. Depends. Economic globalism causes more negative impacts than positive ones. Strongly disagree. Elections are a waste of resources. Strongly disagree. Same-sex marriage should be legalized. Hell yeah. Income taxes for the middle and lower classes should be lowered. Yes. In the modern era, militaries aren't really necessary. Yeah, we're not there yet. I disagree. Restrictions on trade are bad for the economy. I mean, I'll partially agree. They can't, I mean, they don't. Yeah, partially disagree. We should not allow any refugees. Who would say this? Economic classes are inevitable? I partially disagree with that. So certain people should be taken down. Yes. Technological process is usually good. Yeah, usually. We should pay reparations for the descendants of slaves. Strongly agree. It's just hard to do, but we should do it. I support the BLM movement. Strongly agree. Nation usually needs a military in order to survive. Agree. Private property should be abolished. This is where I'm going to be controversial, but I do partially agree with that. I do think private property is theft. Not personal property, private property. There is a difference. Illegal immigrants do not provide a benefit to the hosting country. Strongly disagree. The government must break up monopolies to ensure fairness within the market. Actually partially disagree with this. I think there are some cases where things have to, like, Facebook's a monopoly, but like, you don't want more than one Facebook. That kind of defeats the point. Diplomatic options should always be tried before war is even considered. Always. Countries that do not serve our interests should be toppled? Hell no. High levels of economic regulation good? Yes. Taxation for the rich should be very high? Yes. Elections are an effective way of showing government approval? If the elections are fair, yes. I support single-payer universal health care. Hell yeah, I do. Absolute equality is good. Don't like the term absolute, but equality is good. I'll say agree. It's very important to maintain law and order. I partially agree with that. When people have already suffered for technology to be developed, we should use that technology. No, we should use it if it's worth doing. That's like, this is literally like, do you buy into the law, like sunk cost fallacy? Just no. No. We should be more accepting to other cultures. Yeah, always. We should continue developing AI, even if it means we're going to be replaced. I don't even know what that means, but we should just continue developing AI. No reason. Don't be scared. Government has no business looking into most people's personal lives. Strongly agree. Police need more power and protection? More power? No. Do they need to be more effective? Yes. I strongly disagree with that. Oh, yes. Anyone who wants to enter our country should be able to. Somewhat true. War is never justified. Yes. It's never justified, but it is sometimes necessary. Fully privatized healthcare is a better means of providing healthcare than single-payer systems. Hell no. Tech is making people lose jobs, which is ultimately harmful for humanity. No, we just need to rethink work. Strongly disagree with that. People should vote issue by issue themselves. Sometimes. The quality of life is generally going up decade by decade. Yeah, partially. Democracy makes it too easy for majority to further itself at the expense of minorities. Yeah, I just disagree. I don't get that. It is important the government follows the majority opinion, even if it is wrong. I'm going to say partially disagree. All humans share a common identity. Somewhat agree with that. Taxation for the rich should be higher than this. Yes. Subdivision should not be for net laws. Strongly agree. Democracy is the worst form of government, except for all the others we've tried. Partially agree, I guess. Each person should have one vote, each equal to every other. Yes. Yep. A better world will come from automation, science, and tech. Not sure. I'm neutral on that. No idea. Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a temporary safety net deserve neither. Disagree. Immigrants can never really adapt to our way of life. Disagree. Only extremely talented immigrants of that should be also disagree. Believe there's something after death. Nope. Religion is important. Nope. Popular opinion is not always right. Yeah, that's true. Enlightenment should have never happened. Okay. Tariffs should be eliminated. Yes. Tech progress and innovation cannot be stopped. That's for sure. Religion should be banned. Banned? Hell no. Border protection is important. I mean, yeah, I do think that's pretty important. Governments should be accountable to the international community. Yes. Democracy inefficient and slow. I mean, a true democracy would not be inefficient or slow. It just needs to be a functional democracy. I disagree with that. Society could not function without leaders and followers. I'm neutral on that one. People should not have protections that could hinder discovering their criminal activity. We should absolutely have all those protections. Sharia law isn't as bad as people think. Yeah, it is. It's as bad as you think. It's worse than you think. Local governments should have more power than they currently do. Disagree. People should have the power to choose their leaders. Yes. Faith is complete nonsense. Yes. Internet should be banned. No. Protectionism is unnecessary and unrealistic idea. Yes. Tariffs should be lowered. Yes. Important to maintain our national sovereignty. Yeah. Any variant for now. Any variant of anarchism will never work. Strongly disagree with that. I think there's absolutely a world where it could work. We should respect those who have served in our military. I mean, yeah, we should respect everyone, but yeah. People should think of themselves as citizens of their nation rather than their state. Doesn't really matter. Lasting peace leads to prosperity. Sure. All right. Results before we bring Steven in here. So, federal is a more state-oriented approach on this axis versus unitary. Unitary being a more unified, centralized government. I think it's interesting that I was only 64% on unitary. I would have thought it was higher based on my answers there. I'm very pro-democracy. I'm surprised I'm this high on autocratic. That's interesting. Be curious how they figure that out. I tend to be very liberal, 70% liberal. That's not a surprise. Much more in favor of internationalism. I'm an extreme pacifist, an extreme multiculturalist. That makes sense. Polyculturalist. That makes sense. I'm a socialist. I could have told you that. This is definitely lining up with me being a libertarian socialist. I mean, this is pretty close to what it is. That's interesting. 58% planned versus markets. I don't know if I like this axis, but there's I don't know that planned is the opposite of a market. Maybe I just have a problem with the word planned there. I don't know. Free trade, I'm a globalist. That's not a surprise. 90% irreligious. Atheist. I am culturally left, 88%. All in favor of progress. And 62% in favor of technological. Revolutionary socialism is my closest match. That's funny. Political philosophy, doctrine, and tradition within socialist sectors, the idea of social revolution is necessary in order to bring about structural changes. More specifically, is view that revolution is a necessary precondition for transition from capitalist mode of production to the socialist mode of production. I mean, I'm definitely... it's funny that it says that, because I'm not super pro-revolution unless it becomes necessary. I still think we can get there democratically. But that's how this test works. This part, this closest match part, is not the important part. It's really these axes and understanding where you fall on them, because it's so much more important than left-right. And I think that's the thing that, as we get into Stevens, we'll figure out here. Let me see if he's ready to go. Message him. You free yet? Anybody out there in chat tonight? I know there's a lot of people who told me they were going to have to watch this one after the fact, which is totally fine with me. I do not mind. I'm just curious if anybody is out there. Is there anybody out there? Waiting to see if Steven's going to come on. I'm really interested to see how it got revolutionary socialist out of my thing. That's interesting. Oh, it just takes you to the okay, that makes sense. It just takes you to the this page or whatever. Alright, Steven said he's going to be ready in about 5 minutes or so, and then he'll be free to chat. So, I am going to take a quick break, go take a leak, and I'll be right back. Steven, I pulled you into the channel, and I started sharing my screen, just so that you can get ready to see these answers and whatnot. I'm not sure if you're there or can hear me yet. We're just on break while we're waiting for you. What the fuck? What's up, Grab? Read? Alright, Liam and Steven are both here now. I'm not really sure what's happening right now. What's up?
I don't really know what's happening either, to be honest. I thought you guys were doing the political compass test.
We're about
stream.
to. What do you mean?
You already did?
No, I did mine.
No, we're literally in the middle of it.
Who won?
No. It's not who won. That's not how we do things.
Who won, dude?
That's not how politics works.
Yeah, it's not who won. No, we haven't done Steven's yet. I did mine because he couldn't talk for the first hour. So now we're going to run through the same test with him. And it's probably going to take longer. I'm also streaming my screen so you can pull that up so you're not having to wait to see it on stream, Steven.
Sweet.
If you want to look at that in Discord.
Got it.
I only buy products that are made in my country.
How are you going to make me look famous? What's that mean?
I was gonna spam you on Discord and give you 99 plus notifications.
Oh, that's funny. I get it. So, before we jump into this, I want to make a prediction, and I want to make a couple points. Okay? Steven?
All right, let's see it.
Okay, so the
Let's
prediction
see the predictions.
is... I'm not going to tell you what exactly my answers were, because I think that'll ruin the fun, right? But I will tell you, so the whole point of this test is there's 12 axes, right, of different values
Right.
that you could look at. And I think it's much better than just left-right, because you might be in favor of really authoritarian government, but very communist. So that would put you as a more authoritarian left. Like, those are two different things. So, so separating things into these values, I think, is much more useful than a typical political compass. Okay, that's the first thing. The other thing is, I do believe there are right and wrong answers to any one of these value judgments. And so I tend to think people who end up in the middle of any one of these axes is evidence that they've not looked into that particular issue very far. So my prediction for you, Stephen, is that you're going to be a lot closer to the middle on a lot of these than I am.
Probably.
And I want to suggest that that's not great. Like, it's not perfect, because, again, regardless of which side you fall on, there's a right or wrong answer, and you should feel like you have a strong conviction as to why there's a right or wrong answer.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm not gonna just give you an answer just because I say I'm a libertarian. No. I'll be truthful. Don't worry.
And the center is not a real position. Like, center is like, I don't feel like center. Some people feel like it's a real position in America just because both our political parties are stupid. But that the parties are stupid. Underlying ideologies, again, there are right and wrong answers to, is communism good for humanity, right? Like, that, there's a right and wrong answer to that question.
Yes.
Liam's answer is yes. We have a communist. Ladies and gentlemen,
I would say no.
Comrades, friends.
Comrades? Any comrades in chat?
No, definitely not. Definitely not on my end.
Steven has no comrades.
Dude, I should go ask my roommate if he's a comrade.
If he's... You got a printer?
Not here now.
Oh, that sucks, dude. Would have been really funny if you just printed like a hammer and sickle with just like a checkbox, yes or no.
Dude, I just printed a shit ton of them. Anybody that I meet, I'll just hand them one of those.
Okay, so that's my prediction. I'm gonna tell you that I flew through these. There are 288 questions.
Holy shit.
That's how detailed of a test this is. But that's why I like it. So we can talk about a couple of them, but some of them are going to be pretty straightforward and don't require any discussion.
Well, yeah, this one doesn't just require any discussion. First off, I only buy products that are made in my country. Obviously, no, because everyone in the world buys products from other countries.
So a strong disagree from you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Strongly D.
I mean, if I had the option to only buy goods from America...
That's a different question. Don't worry. They'll get you. They'll get you later. We should continue developing AI, even if that means we're going to be replaced.
Yeah. I would say... Yeah, that one.
Agree or strong?
Agree. Just regular agree.
All right. You're going to have to give me the full answer because I can't read your mind. Income taxes for the middle and lower classes should be lowered.
Yes. Strongly agree.
Strong. All right. States cannot function without a strong national government. That's a tough one.
Probably, honestly, disagree with that one.
Okay.
Just regular disagree, I think.
Okay.
Because they definitely can.
Yeah, function.
It would just be difficult.
Yeah, function is different
function.
than be optimal, right? So
right.
I think I get you. All right.
Strongly agree on this one.
Okay.
Usually good because, one day the end of the world will be decided by someone saying, uh-oh.
Do we need whistleblowers?
Hell yes.
All right. think we're both pretty libertarian on that one. Is it necessary for the government to intervene in the economy to protect consumers? That's a tough one the way it's worded.
I mean, my mind brings to thought, like, utilities and, like, electrical companies. That's not the way it should be done, but sometimes it is necessary. So I'd say probably agree.
Like, partially agree, you think, then?
Yeah, partially. Yeah.
Okay. Affirmative action is mostly beneficial.
Affirmative action. Oh.
To be fair, I mean, it's the only reason Liam was ever allowed in the guild. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'd say strongly agree.
You think it's mostly beneficial? Oh, he came off mute for that shit.
Nah, I'm gonna TOS you. Make me do it.
Currently, taxation is too complex and should be simplified.
I would say strongly disagree because it doesn't need to be simplified. It just needs to be followed.
Really? That's actually your position? Like, you think income tax is the fact that we have to, like, oftentimes pay somebody to do our taxes for us? Like, you're fine with that?
You don't have to. Fucking TurboTax.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
use
still
TurboTax every single year.
Still
and
paying
it's
somebody. Okay, like let's not.
Okay,
have any
that's like
illusions
what
about it.
$50 once a year.
It's still paying software.
I guess. Okay, so then
I'm surprised.
I don't know.
I thought
don't-
this would be like a 90%.
The
yes
first
for
time
almost
I
anything.
ever did my taxes alone, I kept it stupidly simple. Like,
Sure, yeah. If you only have to fire a 1040 EZ, that's why it's got the EZ.
yeah,
but
it's so.
the second you own anything, it
Yeah,
gets real complicated.
I'd say agree. Yeah, yeah,
Okay, all right. I was gonna say, I feel like that's one. If you think about it for a minute, you're like, wait a second.
yeah.
I'm actually so this is what I want to stop and talk about just for the sake of the show, okay? Think about the level of tech that our government has access to. The federal government knows how much taxes we should have to pay. The fact that they cannot provide and access themselves the data for that themselves and give us a proper tax bill is outrageous to me.
Yeah.
And then here's the next level, okay? The fact that they then turn around and say, well, it's on you to properly file your taxes that we imposed on you. And if you don't, we punish you? Sometimes with jail?
We should just go back to what they did, like, in the late 1800s during the War on Squirrels.
There was a war on squirrels?
There was... this is our next episode.
All right.
This is the next episode topic,
All right.
okay? The actual third war that the United States
That
lost.
sounds ridiculous. That sounds amazing. Okay, go ahead.
But some eastern states, think like Rhode Island, some of the first colonies, they would allow you to pay your state tax every year in squirrel scalps and squirrel tails.
Okay.
Yeah. So we could just go back to something like that. Like, here, let me give you a good instead of just more money for you to throw away on nothing.
All right, fair enough.
You know?
So, this one. Democracy is the worst form of government except for all the others we've tried.
I haven't... No, I
Disagree.
I disagree. Yeah.
Strongly,
yeah,
or just regular disagree?
Just disagree.
Okay.
'Cause it has its good sides, its bad sides, just like any other thing.
Yeah. Its bad side is the fact that we all like Kim Kardashian for some reason.
Strongly agree.
Yeah. All right. Maintaining family values is essential. What do you think?
I partially agree.
Strongly agree.
You both really? That's so funny.
Alex, how well do you know me, Alex?
That was a strong disagree from me, boys.
No, that's a strong
This
agree.
one.
To me, that is almost always code for we hate homosexuals when people talk about family values. So all right, lasting peace leads to prosperity. What do you think?
I'd say partially disagree because
Oh shit!
Because like war leads to a lot of innovation, you know. Like, that benefits you outside of war as well.
That's an argument.
You know,
I'll take it. I'm not going to agree with you, but I understand the position.
Yeah.
All right, country cannot function without a national government. This is secretly a communism question, by the way.
Yeah, I understand that. It doesn't say anything about a strong national government, so yeah, I'd say agree.
Okay. Tech progress and innovation cannot be stopped.
I'd say strongly disagree because it most definitely can be stopped.
Well, all right.
By the Kim Kardashians.
Damn it, Kim. Foreign products should be banned or heavily restricted from entry.
Strongly disagree.
All right. Governments should be accountable to the international community.
Strongly agree.
All right. Creationism is a myth.
That's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage. Strongly agree, but yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
That's when you see my results at the end of this, you're gonna laugh so hard about that one. We'll put a pin there, but nations fighting among each other gets in the way of progress.
Disagree.
Okay. Local government should have more power than they currently do.
Strongly agree.
Interesting. Equality of outcome is important.
Strongly agree.
You're actually more left on me than that. I was only a partially agree.
This is a strongly disagree. For sure.
That's a lot of damage. Holy shit, what was that? Did that come across on my microphone?
I heard what sounded like a ball, honestly, a golf ball bouncing off hardwood.
Yeah, something just fell somewhere. Scared the devil out of the shit out of me. All right, anyways, we move on. We fight through here at the APT show.
Strongly disagree.
All right. Nation needs a strong, usually needs a military in order to survive. Not a strong one, just even a military at all.
Yeah, I'd say strongly agree.
All right. The freer the market, the freer the people.
See, this is where I myself am like torn, is on like, you know, economic policies. Because on the one hand, free market is really good for people, but also a non-free market is much better for people.
Sometimes.
Like, yeah, sometimes as long as the ones in power controlling the market don't.
That's one thing I don't like about this question. It depends on what market and what sector you're talking about, because a completely free market in electricity means if you live in a rural part of this country, you would have never got electricity.
Right.
It's wildly inefficient to run electrical lines out of a city to somewhere else. So, you know.
So I'd say partially agree.
Okay.
I think, yeah.
All right. Peace is preferable to war whenever possible.
I strongly agree.
Okay. Most organized religions contradict themselves.
Strongly agree.
I guess that.
Strongly disagree. Come on, guys. You guys are good Christian men.
Dude, listen. Nothing says consistency like Islam.
Right?
My nation should stay out of international affairs. Now, I take this to mean international affairs like UN, EU, humanitarian crises, stuff like that. I don't think this is like a military intervention.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know.
Then I'd say partially. No. Just put a disagree.
Solid disagree. All right. In order for humanity to survive, we must get past having separate nations.
Disagree. No, strongly disagree.
Okay. He likes nations.
Yeah.
Patents should be protected to prevent other countries from outcompeting my country. This is a tough one given the recent some people that ethically had a real big problem with the patent on the COVID vaccine. This one has recent pain attached to it. What do you think?
Hate to ask what your opinion on this one was, but
I'll. How about this? Before I give you mine, do you think you're neutral? Not sure.
probably, yeah,
Okay.
probably neutral, unsure.
I'm gonna put that for your test because I want this to be a pure test and then give my opinion. Okay.
Got it.
In general, I have no respect for patents whatsoever. Patents are the most anti-capitalist thing ever. Right? Like, a patent is literally a capitalist going back to the government and being like, can you protect me so I can make money off this for a few minutes? I put a lot of work into it. Well, why don't you make it better? Because if somebody else can pick up what you did and then do it better 5 minutes later, you didn't do it good enough.
You didn't do it nearly good enough.
Right.
That's true. Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm gonna go neutral just because I want to keep the test pure. But
When you put it that way,
pretty funny, right?
yeah.
Laws should vary from area to area and from culture to culture within a country.
So this is like a strong
This is like-
local government, basically.
Yeah, state laws. Like, in other words,
I'd say agree. Let's, good agree. Yeah.
I was a partial on that one because I do think some difference was good, but
We're not primates. Strongly disagree.
I mean we are
Strong
primates.
agree. Strong agree.
We're no longer primitive primates. We've grown beyond.
Correct.
I believe in a
Alright.
higher power.
Johnny's answer on this one was strongly agree.
Strongly agree.
You do? Mm-hmm. I didn't know that about you. That's cool. This is
Not
the best part.
necessarily an all powerful godlike figure, as we see it, but there's got to be something that's
Some
like,
kind of energy out there.
yeah,
All right. I like it.
something that governs how the universe works.
Yeah. I'm an extreme naturalist. I think it's all here. Each person should have one vote, each
Strongly
equal
agree.
to every other. No,
Strongly agree.
no 3/5 compromise in the chat.
No, any 3/5 compromise. Oh no.
That's fucked. That is for satire and jokes, Twitch. All right, the national government can't understand what the people need.
I'd say I strongly disagree because they know what the people need. They just don't know what they want.
That was my take too. It's not even that it's that they're completely ineffectual at delivering on it most of the time.
Yeah.
Regulations on industries must be implemented to protect the environment.
Strongly agree.
People should vote issue by issue themselves. So this is the direct democracy question.
Yeah. Strongly agree.
All right. Religion should be banned.
That's a solid disagree for me. I don't think religion, like, it's not as cracked up as people make it out to be, but it also shouldn't be banned.
Strongly or just regular disagree?
I'd say strongly disagree because that's like what someone believes. You can't. That's their opinion. You can't.
You can
fault
try
them
and ban
on,
it if you
know.
want to.
I kind of
Yeah.
want to know what Johnny's opinion on that is.
Strongly disagree for me as well.
Really?
Yeah, I believe that
That's actually-
good arguments win in the end. I think we should make good arguments, and I'm totally fine with using the free market to broadcast better arguments and totally make fun of those who have bad ones. And claiming a god exists is a bad argument that should be ridiculed. But by banning your religion, right, I'm now using the power of the state to impose my views on you. I don't like that at all.
I would have put strongly agree for the question.
Really? You think it should
Yes.
be banned? It's that harmful? Is that like the thought process?
Yes, because I think people have a natural inclination to believe in useful lies, if that makes sense.
And when did China start sending you checks?
Listen, man. You weren't supposed to bring them into this.
Okay, Ford products are as good as local products. I hate this question. This question's stupid.
I
as
hate
fuck.
this question too. This
wanna
is a
just go
stupid
neutral?
question. Yeah.
Okay. An ideal nation must mostly stay neutral during foreign affairs.
Strongly agree.
Okay. That's fascinating. That was one where we differed quite a bit. I'll explain later though. High levels of economic regulation is good for my nation.
No, that's a strong disagree.
All right. economies without any capitalism will collapse. I'll tell you one thing. I don't love this because the term economy is a product of capitalism. Like, if capital exists, then there's an economy where people trade money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, communism doesn't have an economy in principle.
Correct.
Oh, shit.
Any comrades in chat?
Communism, it doesn't have an economy because it doesn't have any products. It doesn't have any product variability.
Okay. All right. Very biased opinion over here from Steven. It's a moneyless society, but that's all right. That's fine.
No, that's not what I meant. It's that it doesn't have the variety that like a capitalistic, economy would.
In theory.
Yeah.
It's never really been tried.
I mean,
it's
you can look at Russia, like Russian supermarkets versus ours.
The fact that you calling that place Russia means they didn't achieve communism. They didn't achieve a moneyless, classless, stateless society. That's why I'm saying it's never been tried. Okay, anyways, we move on. What's the answer? It's a weird one.
It's a weird one. I'd say partially disagree.
Okay. You do think there's a chance that some kind of economy could survive without capitalism?
Yeah.
Okay. That was actually my opinion as well. Public opinion swings too much with emotional events to be useful for public policy making.
Yes, agree.
Okay.
It does sway a shit ton.
National government protects minorities better than some local governments do.
Oh, no. That's a big disagree. That's a strong disagree. I had to read that, for 2 seconds real quick. No, that's a strong disagree.
Applying to a text real quick. Strong disagree that, some issues. Yeah, okay. Must actively promote foreign products. Actively promote?
What?
I forgot that they asked me that one. That was a strong disagree for me.
Yeah, strong disagree.
High tariffs are needed to protect local industries.
No, that's a disagree.
Okay. Every person has unalienable rights, including the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Of course. Right. Strongly agree.
If you have nothing to hide, then you have nothing to fear.
Strongly disagree.
Yeah,
I want my fucking privacy, bitch.
I'm very scared of snakes.
I don't think that's the point of the question, Liam. But it is relevant.
Yeah, see.
Alliances are important for protecting a nation.
Partially agree.
You hear that, NATO? Steven does not think you're necessary. Only partially.
I think it's necessary. It's more necessary for NATO to have us in there than it is for us to be in there.
That's facts, though. Steven's spitting facts right now. We probably spend, collectively 10 times more than every other NATO ally. Yeah.
Every other ally combined?
Yeah, that's true. All right. Subdivisions of nations should have their own militaries. Texas, the greatest country on earth, should have a full-fledged fucking military.
I mean, don't they already?
I mean, more or less.
I mean, isn't that what the Proud Boys are, essentially?
Wow. I love it.
They're their own militia. The people that took over the city of Portland at the start of the pandemic.
I guess, yeah.
That was a militia.
So something tells me you disagree with this.
Oh yeah, I strongly disagree.
Okay. Very important to maintain law and order.
Actually, can you go back? I just want to do a regular disagree on that.
Okay, that's fair. Very important to maintain law and order.
Agree.
Okay. Statues of certain people should be taken down. Oh boy. Oh boy. Brace yourself. It's totally fine if you haven't made up your mind on this issue, by the way. It's a weird one.
It really depends on the fact that they say certain people. I would say agree.
So take the most extreme case, right?
Yeah, I would
Robert
say
E.
agree.
Lee, the general of the Confederate Army.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I don't understand why people were upset about that. It's like, it's not like you care that he did anything for you. Like, yeah, I would just say agree.
Okay. Countries that violate human rights should be toppled. I'm gonna say that this implies being toppled by other countries, not toppled from within, because that would just be a revolution, and who wouldn't?
Well, is this also saying my country should be the one toppling it? Because I don't think that.
I think it's just saying, in general, somebody should do the job of toppling it.
I would say agree. Regular agree.
Okay. State and local laws should have precedence over national laws.
Strongly agree.
Okay. Tell you that's one where we're
strong disagree.
Directly opposite on that last one.
That's a strong disagree because they do provide a benefit. They do the jobs that we won't, but still they're illegal. It still sucks. They should be coming here legally. Whatever.
Well, we
Anyways,
that's a whole other problem.
we need to make it easier.
Yeah.
We need to make it a lot easier. Like streamline the whole thing.
Local governments address issues that the national government would never touch without them.
Strong agree. Yeah.
Okay. Our culture would be better with other cultures mixed in more.
Strongly agree.
Okay. Hourly minimum wage should be $15 US or more. And I assume this is assuming national minimum wage.
Correct. Strongly agree.
Okay. Most bad things happening in the world are caused by turning away from religion.
Strongly disagree.
Okay. I enjoy some foreign cultures.
Strongly agree.
Prefer collectivism over individualism. This is a really broad ass question.
Any comrades?
This is a
I
strong
actually strongly
disagree.
agreed on this one. That's
Did you really?
Yeah.
I would not think that.
I know. I can explain that later.
Oh, because it says I prefer. Well, let's see.
In general, I very much buy into the philosophy that the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Oh, is that what? Oh, that's what it's saying. Okay.
Well,
yeah, I'd say
philosophically, yes, but the thing is we've perverted the philosophy so much that people see this and they immediately assume that this is a communism versus like capitalism dichotomy.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's necessary.
It's about the individual collective.
I do think the individual is very important, but which one should be preferred in the event of making a national policy?
Oh, strongly agree.
See?
Yeah.
There you go. It's important that the government follows the majority opinion, even if it's wrong.
Strongly agree. Yeah.
Okay. Pure direct democracy over here. Nobody but me can adequately represent my views.
Strongly agree.
Environmental regulations are essential.
Yeah, I already answered that one. Strongly agree.
Okay. Benefits of open borders would outweigh the costs.
Strong disagree.
Taxation should be voluntary or abolished.
That's a
By
strong
the way,
disagree.
by making it voluntary, you're abolishing it.
Yeah.
I was about to say, dude, if it was
Unless you could pay in squirrel scalps, because then there might be those weird people that still want to pay their taxes in squirrels.
What else was I going to do with them?
I already used up the rest of it for my squirrel stew.
Okay, so what's your answer?
Strong disagree.
Okay. We should be more accepting to other cultures.
Strong agree.
Okay. International aid is a waste of money, most of the time.
Regular agree.
Okay. Subdivisions should not be able to exempt from national laws. So this would be like the states that have decided to legalize marijuana, for example.
No, that's a strong disagree.
Okay. Government should monitor all citizens to combat terrorism. Can I just answer for it?
Yeah.
People should not have protections that could hinder discovering their criminal activity. I'm going to go strong disagree again here.
Yes.
Yeah. Technology must be slowed down to protect the environment.
That's a strong disagree.
Yeah, I don't even understand that. I support the Black Lives Matter movement. If you click strongly disagree here, the Democrat Party will come to your house and abduct
I was about to
you.
say we might have to end the stream. That might be Twitch TOS.
I support the protesters, the peaceful protesters, not the ones that go around trying to riot and loot because of it. I would say agree. Most of them aren't doing that. I agree with that.
Yeah, and I would also tell you that most educated people on the subject will tell you that the movement is the peaceful ones. The people who are not
right,
not
because
recognized
that's
by
the movement is about like peace. It's not about
variant of anarchism will never work. This is the is government essential question.
No, I would say disagree.
All right. Strong states weaken a nation.
That's a strong disagree.
Okay.
Texas would disagree.
Yeah, okay.
Genetic modification is a force for good, even on humans.
Yeah, strongly agree. If they can make me so that I can breathe in outer space without a freaking astronaut suit, that'd be great.
Once again, don't love this question because to me, economics is tied to money, and communism would be a trade system. Not you would always be trading goods for goods or goods for labor, and not money for anything.
Goods for money or labor for money.
Right. So I don't like this question, but communism, if implemented correctly, would be a good form of economics.
Yeah.
Okay.
If implemented correctly.
All right. That's an agree. Democracy makes it too easy for a majority to further itself at the expense of minorities. Not capitalism, democracy.
Yeah, I'd put strongly agree.
You really think so?
Maybe not strongly agree, maybe just regular agree. Yeah, because when you think about it, like democracy is for the good of the whole,
majority.
You know? Yeah.
The problem is it assumes everybody from the big group would always vote, or not necessarily would always vote, but are likely to vote in ways that would intentionally be hateful towards the minorities. And I think if you had a society that provided the basic needs for everybody, I don't think anyone would ever vote that way, because I think humans are actually generally good.
We definitely differ on that topic.
I know.
Then, so I think people are evil.
I think when we get to the end, you'll see that, and it'll be obvious. But anyways, a united world government would be beneficial to mankind.
Strong disagree.
Thought you might say that. My country
agree.
Okay. Yeah. Really, a libertarian?
Dude,
Most, if not all, businesses must be owned by the government. Us.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sharia law isn't as bad as people think it is.
What is that?
Sharia law is Islamic State rule, like where the law is dictated by the Quran.
Strong disagree.
He says it's worse than you think it is.
Yeah.
Private charities are a better means of helping the poor than public welfare is.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the private charities are always going to have more money than the government will, you know.
So you agree?
So I'd say agree. Yeah.
So I'm not going to let you change your answer on that one because it's where you came in at, okay? But I just want you to think of this one question real quick. If that were true, why in the richest country on earth have we not eliminated poverty through charity? It's just an interesting question. Anyways, absolute equality is good. Absolute equality. So I'm assuming that means more of that communist classless concept of equality, not just equal rights under the law, but equal in terms of ownership and everything else. Steven? Liam, are you there? Did I lag out?
Yes, sir. I hear you.
Steven lagged
Can you hear me?
out. Now I can.
Oh yeah, I just put a disagree with that.
Okay. Everybody should speak at least 2 languages.
I don't think you should require anyone, but yeah, that'd be a yes. I'd say agree.
I actually agreed with that as well, even though I'm unable to do it. I feel like I would be way better off if I could.
Yeah, me too. If I could speak Spanish, trust me, I'd get way more jobs out here.
Yeah. Democracy
really
and way more ass. That's here nor there.
What were you saying, Liam?
Oh, I was gonna say I'd want to learn Latin.
Get out of here, dude. Democracy is more than a decision-making process. It's a weird question.
I'm not even sure how to answer that.
Neutral? Unsure?
Yeah, yeah.
Elections are an effective way of showing government approval. I wish the term fair was in front of this, but I think it's implied.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. So yeah, strongly agree.
Okay. Abortion should be legal.
Strongly agree.
Okay. Planned economies never perform as well as free market economies.
Disagree.
Interesting. Religion is important for society. Strongly disagree.
No, I wouldn't. No.
Okay, this is different than the other ones. All right.
I'm gonna say partially agree, because it's like without it, then like there's no hope for anyone, right? Because that's what those people, the people that believe in religion and in a god that are gonna go to heaven for, they're just holding out for hope, right?
I know we're only
you get rid of the hope, and people are even like 5 times worse.
I know we're only a third of the way through here, but can I take a 5-minute detour to address that point?
Yes.
I almost want this to change your mind. Sam Harris once said in a debate regarding religion, he was like, notice that the way that many people after they're unable to defend their faith will often rely on the argument that religion is either useful or beneficial or makes their lives better or brings more meaning to their life. And I want to bring up tonight that the only question we should care about is whether or not it's true. And to illustrate this, let me give you a thought experiment. And he says, imagine you run into a friend you haven't seen in many years, and they come up to you and they say, oh, they're just glowing and they're radiantly happy. And they're like, everything for me changed in my life the day I found out I was going to marry Angelina Jolie. and then they go on to say, you know, it's just like, it's made me a better person. It's brought so much meaning to my life. And sensing your skepticism, they go into a defense of this belief. And they say, you don't understand. I'm a better person, you know, as a result of this. I'm more kind to children, anticipating having to raise her like 17 kids. Like, it improves my overall well-being. I don't want to live in a world where I don't end up marrying Angelina Jolie.
Her lips are too big. That's all I'm gonna say.
It does illustrate the point that
now, if you had said Jessica Alba pre, who was the friggin' football player she dated? I can't remember.
For most of us would try
Derek
to have
Jeter.
that
She dated Derek Jeter, and then he gave her herpes. So there's that. If you had said Jessica Alba pre herpes, then yeah, I would have been like, okay, now I get it. But I don't really dig Angelina Jolie.
I think it does illustrate the point, right? It's
yes.
that it's like the only question that should concern you is whether or not it's true. Useful fictions are not real. But that's a different story. That's a philosophical question.
Hope is real, though. And if that shit gives them hope, all right, so that they don't just go about their lives.
Even amidst my challenge, Steven holds firm.
Like, hope is real, dude.
All right, that's fine. I get it.
You know, like, that's my whole thing on it.
So what I want to know is, are we giving hope to the gays here?
Yes.
Okay.
I strongly agree.
Children should be educated in religious values.
Fuck no.
Okay. Only extremely talented immigrants, if that, should be permitted to enter the country. I love how this is worded. Motherfucker, did you come in juggling on a unicycle? If not, then get the fuck out of here.
Oh my god.
They should have something that they can quantify. Like, give me a little like,
some value to
what
society?
did you do in your country? You know.
Okay. All right. So is that a partial agree?
I think so.
All right.
Very the most minuscule of agrees.
All right.
That's what that is.
Tech is making people lose jobs, which is ultimately harmful for humanity.
Strongly disagree.
Yeah.
If we don't need jobs to make money, great.
But we need to have the money, not just the people who created the tech. That's my disagreement with that.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I answered it the same way. I think we need to figure out how to all share in the gains.
Should be very high. Strongly agree.
Okay.
The more you make, the more you should pay.
The UN needs more power.
No.
Yeah, I also said no. Strong or?
Strong, no.
It's not power they need, it's effectiveness.
Yes. I mean, you can say that about every form of government, like Western form of government right now.
This is the
UBI.
Milton Friedman question. UBI is a better means of providing welfare when compared with the current welfare system.
When compared to the current welfare system, I would say agree.
The real question here is it would be giving everybody the same amount of basic needs without means testing, right? Because that's the whole point of our current welfare system, means tests, which creates a negative work incentive, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, yes?
I would say yes, agree.
Okay. Government must intervene in the foreign exchange market to higher import prices. This was one that I had no real good answer. I don't fucking know. Maybe they should.
Well, we must intervene to... Do they mean lower?
No, they mean to import prices. In other words, like...
Yeah, like if I want Japanese steel, they're asking if we should intervene to stop that?
So that our steel is more valuable because the imports coming in are too expensive, so now we decide to buy steel from Pennsylvania.
Well, yeah, I think we should try and drive more into our more.
But specifically by doing that, by intervening in the foreign exchange market, is how we should do that?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So disagree.
Correct.
Okay.
Disagree.
The concept of a free market should be extended towards global trade as well.
I don't know, man. Unsure.
My problem with that is countries that have no resources would just get straight fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. I support single-payer universal healthcare.
Disagree.
Okay. My religious values should be spread as much as possible. Strongly disagree.
Yeah.
Okay. Genetic modification should be used rarely, if ever.
Strongly disagree. Make me a fucking robot, please.
Popular
Make me an android.
Is not always right.
Strongly agree.
Okay.
But the people are
Yeah.
Twitch TOS.
But the people are Twitch TOS. That's correct. Governments should be as concerned about foreign citizens as they are within their borders.
Disagree. Strongly disagree.
Okay. Government should not regulate the economy at all.
Agree. Regular agree.
Wow.
Because there are some things it does, like utilities. Like you said earlier, like if you live in a rural part and if there wasn't a closed market for utilities,
So this is saying the government
half
should
the country
not
wouldn't have power.
regulate the
Correct.
economy at all.
I mean, they should a little bit.
So you're just not willing to go strongly.
Mostly it shouldn't. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, pretty
alright.
much.
Only our nation languages should be spoken in our country. Our national
False.
languages.
Strongly disagree.
Okay. Without tariffs, my country's economy will likely fail.
Yeah, I would say partially agree. I don't know much about tariffs, but I know that we rely on them.
You've been allowed in, Micah.
Hi, Micah.
Hi, Micah.
So what was your answer? Sorry.
I'd say agree.
Okay. Immigrants should be expected to learn the language of the country.
They should be expected to, but not required. So I would say agree.
Okay. Alliances can pose a threat to a nation's sovereignty.
Unsure.
There should not be international law.
Oh, that's a strong disagree. There should definitely be international law.
Gender is a social construct.
It's not.
Any blue-haired Twitter warriors? and
It's
shit?
not, though. No, because gender is a biological thing. Gender is yes. You're either male or female. You're X or Y.
That is biological
you're XX or you're
sex.
XY.
I strongly disagree with you on that.
I mean, social construct would be the correct way to describe it.
So gender, right? And this is the confusion a lot of people have, and I just want to say this so that it's out there, considering it came up in this test, okay? This was a strongly agree for me, and I'll tell you why. There is a difference between sex and gender. I don't think gender exists. Gender is a set of preferences and a set of cultural norms that are related to your biological sex, right? But that's still something that we created socially. It's just really old and has existed for a really, really, really long time. I would also say it's inherently flawed. I don't think me knowing your biological sex actually tells me anything about you. It can tell me a series of probabilities that are likely to be true, right?
Yeah, okay.
But you can randomly run into a woman that, you know,
that
is
has
incredibly
XXY,
strong, is incredibly
that they have XXY, so they're basically a superwoman, which is actually a man.
No, that you're still talking about biology, right?
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like you said, you could come across the 1 in 100,000, you know, and wouldn't explain it all the time. Doesn't always explain it, but the majority of the time it does.
Yeah,
I get where you're coming from.
Yep.
So you said you answered strongly agree.
Yeah.
I'll go with a regular agree, I guess.
All right. He's not all the way there, but we've made progress. All right. The United Nations should be abolished.
No.
That was
disagree.
That was
a strong disagree.
Yeah, same. Developing alternative tech is a better means of helping the environment than environmental regulations.
Strongly disagree.
Yeah, like, why can't we do both?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like tandem? Hello?
Police need more power and protection.
No.
Strong disagree?
Qualified immunity is the most bullshit phrase I have ever fucking heard. Okay. When I first heard that, when I was learning about, you know, the Constitution and, like, cops in general, I was like, what? So they can do whatever they want. I asked my teacher, so basically they can do whatever the fuck they want. Just not all the time. She didn't know how to answer.
I'm going to assume you're strongly disagreeing with the autocrat rule.
Autocrat is what? One ruler or no ruler? What is that? I can't remember.
It's essentially... Okay, let me pull up the actual dictionary.
Okay, yeah.
I don't want to give my definition. A system of government by one person with absolute power. Okay, that was pretty much my definition.
Yeah, okay, no. Strongly disagree.
Okay. State laws should have precedence over national laws.
Strongly agree.
That's crazy to me. Global economic cooperation will generally lead to positive outcomes.
Generally, yes. Agree.
Immigrants can never really adapt to our way of life.
Why do they have to? What?
But can
Who
they?
cares? Who cares?
Who cares? Don't care? Is neutral your answer?
Like,
But can they?
Yes, they can. Of course they can.
Strongly agree?
Yeah.
Or, so strongly disagree then.
Like, my grandparents were immigrants to this country, and
Exactly.
like,
We should be taking in more refugees.
No. Disagree.
Okay. No need for a local or state government.
Strongly disagree.
Quality of life is generally going up decade by decade.
Yes.
Okay.
Agree.
Local governments give each region good representation of their views.
No.
Strong or regular?
Strong.
Okay. I support regional unions such as the EU.
No.
Wow. Okay.
No, yeah, just
classes should not exist.
In the sense that they shouldn't have to.
So Karl Marx's argument was that class was a necessary result of private property and capitalism, right? Whereas life before private property,
you owned anything, right? Correct.
Like class was not a construct that existed. That was Karl Marx's argument.
I mean, you had like hunters and gatherers, and the hunters were usually above the gatherers. Well, there's always been hierarchies in every, like, you look at Mayan culture.
A hierarchy is not a class.
Okay, I guess.
A class is, you know, a ruling class with the most power and wealth.
The middle class.
Exactly.
Okay. I would say strongly disagree, because I think they should exist.
Oh, wow.
But they should be equal. They shouldn't be. It shouldn't be like you shouldn't be looking down on them.
Well, but if all the classes were equal, then by definition they would not exist, because class is a separation of people by means.
Yeah.
So do you want to change your answer on that?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know.
Just unsure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No authority should be left unquestioned.
Strongly agree.
Wait. No authority should be left unquestioned?
Correct.
Oh, yeah. Was that asked differently on mine? I might have answered that one wrong. Anyway, excessive government intervention is a threat to the economy.
Agree.
Okay. We should not allow any refugees.
Disagree.
Okay. Trade is often beneficial to both parties.
Strongly agree.
Okay. Government should not fund any religious organizations in any way.
Strongly agree.
Protectionism is an unnecessary and unrealistic idea. So protectionism is raising tariffs on imports to drive up the prices, creating laws that make it harder to import goods from other places.
Oh, I see.
And meddling in trade so that our products and stuff are preferred.
Unnecessary, and I would say it's. See, this is weird because I want. Yeah, disagree.
Okay. People should hold more loyalty to their local state than their country.
Strongly agree.
Okay. People born to wealthy families have unfair success even when they aren't skilled and don't work hard.
As of right now, yeah, strongly agree.
Okay. Government should not regulate economy at all.
I feel like they've asked this like 6 times.
In different ways they have.
Are they just trying to ask, like, find out?
No, there are slightly different versions of this that people will answer differently too. Yeah.
Go.
So, what's the answer here?
Agree.
Okay. I oppose human genetic modification.
Strongly disagree.
The world must cooperate together in terms of economics.
Disagree.
Any deals other countries want must be bad for us.
Strongly disagree.
Okay. Services like roads should be publicly owned. So infrastructure.
Yeah, strongly agree. Yeah.
In the modern era, militaries aren't really necessary.
Strongly disagree.
Diplomatic options should always be tried before war is even considered.
Strongly agree.
Those who disagree with government should be removed from the country.
Get rid of them. No, strongly disagree.
Comrades, what you gonna do?
You strongly agree. Yeah.
Okay. Economic classes are inevitable.
That's a good question right there. Strongly agree.
Okay.
Yes.
Border protection is important.
Strongly agree.
Okay. Humanity has progressed beyond the need for religion.
Strongly agree.
Okay. Is it more important to retain peaceful relations than to further our strength?
I would say agree.
Traditions are important.
I hate this type of question. This one in particular. Like,
so let me goad you on this one a little bit and just prod you, because Liam and I had like a way too long of a conversation about this last time we did this. Are you still here, Liam?
Yeah.
Like, the tradition of Thanksgiving, I think, is important for what it does, not for what it originally stood for.
So what you just said right there is my philosophical opinion. Tell me what ever is worth doing for its own sake, ever. Like, a tradition being important necessitates that even if there's no practical use, even if there's no benefit, even if it's
still should be done.
It still should be done for its own sake because it's tradition.
Okay, so then strongly disagree. Then.
That's my opinion as well.
Got it.
Religious organizations often provide better assistance to the poor than the government does.
Yeah, well, I would say strongly agree.
Wow.
They do. Wow. I mean,
so wrong.
But all
they don't.
What you're saying is better than our government. And I think that's the thing you forget, that there are other countries that, through effective government policy...
Okay, yeah.
Like, in the United States, maybe you're correct, but generally speaking, no. A government can do way more than a religion.
Well, didn't it say our country?
It just said, the government.
Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah, but I guess we could change that. They often provide better assistance to the poor than it does.
That's your answer. Like, I'm not trying to change it. I disagree with you. I
would just put unsure. Yeah, let's change that to unsure, just because.
Religion must decline for society to progress. That one's different. Then this is the point, right? Because those might not have to go hand in hand in some people's opinion.
Right. Yeah, exactly. They don't have to go hand in hand. They shouldn't have to go hand in hand. Just put unsure.
That's actually a thing that I argue that is necessary for progress.
Religion?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that we will not get beyond some very tribal things if we don't throw off our myths. But that'll be an episode for another day. One day I'll do the anti-theist episode.
Causes more harm than good. I would say...
Assume this is the whole of regulation, right? The central bank, like all of it. Yeah.
I would just say disagree.
Okay. In general, immigrants are bad for the country.
Strongly disagree.
You're gonna laugh.
In general, they're good for the country.
You're gonna laugh. I did not put strongly here.
Yeah?
I put regularly disagree because if you have more immigrants coming in than citizens, like let's say you're a particularly small country, if all of a sudden like all of Haiti immigrates to Costa Rica, that's not going to be good for Costa Rica. So there is a degree.
But it said in general,
Yeah, okay, strongly disagree. All right. Taxation is theft.
Strongly disagree.
Okay. Democracy is inefficient and slow. Our democracy might be inefficient and slow, but that's... Insofar as
a whole, I would strongly disagree.
Yeah.
I think
that was how I
efficient.
took the question too, because for me, to the degree our democracy is inefficient and slow is to the exact degree it's undemocratic.
Yeah.
Because as we talked about on our last stream together, where we talked about the Build Back Better bill, democracy would have passed that bill because it's what the people want.
Because 75% of the population loved that bill.
Exactly. A government
and one person.
Well, one person and every Republican. Let's be fair.
Yeah. One person.
A group of states without strong national government is merely an alliance, not a nation.
I would put agree.
Okay. Military action. Go ahead.
Well, put partially agree, because it doesn't have to be super strong. It just needs to be a national government.
All right. Military action by your nation is often necessary to protect it.
Strongly disagree.
A nation must obey its leadership without question.
Now that's my kind of government.
The government should have access to the emails of suspected terrorists.
If they did, then they'd probably suspect me of being a terrorist. Strongly disagree.
A government must maintain a strong military to defend itself.
Regular disagree.
Nobody in other countries has our best interests in mind. Strongly disagree, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it important that we maintain the traditions of our past?
Disagree.
Okay. Government must be by the people, for the people.
Yes.
A better world will come from automation, science, and tech.
Strongly agree.
I'm more skeptical than you. All societies are a blend of cultures.
Yeah. Agree.
Sure about that? You ever seen the Chinese national gymnastics team?
Have you ever seen an American football team?
Did you guess that was exclusively Chinese bitches? Because you'd be correct.
Did you mention that it was exclusively African Americans weighing?
It is not.
Pounds?
Got to have them cord-fed boys up front.
You have the one token white dude.
No.
Okay?
No, you got to have them corn-fed boys up front on the offensive line.
Okay, maybe we'll talk about basketball then.
Okay, in which case, yeah, you just be black. You'll be better off. Correct. Technical and scientific knowledge should be protected from other countries.
So there's like patents and stuff.
No, in some sense,
kind
yes,
of.
but also just like if we're working on a big advancement.
Yeah, I would say strongly agree.
Okay. Society was better many years ago than it is now.
No, strongly disagree. It's much better than it used to be.
The wealthy have far more than they need.
Of course, that's why they're wealthy. Yeah,
there is no need for a national government.
Strongly disagree.
Yeah. If we continue human tech progress, humanity is doomed.
Yes, I strongly agree with that. It's like I said, the last thing anyone on Earth will ever say is, "Oops,
yeah,
let's try that again." Boom, everyone's dead. You know.
We should pay reparations for the descendants of slaves.
Strongly disagree.
Wow.
I didn't do anything.
I strongly disagree with you, but that's
I didn't like.
You're correct. That's not why we should do it, though. It has nothing to do with your individual responsibility. It has to do with collectivist responsibility, but that's a different argument. Restrictions on trade are bad for the economy.
Partially agree.
That's kind of where I was, too. We already...
Well...
There should be a higher bar for that question.
No, the internet should not be banned. Facebook should be banned.
Thank you.
Strongly disagree.
Honestly, the whole problem with anything on the internet is the ad model.
It's Karen's for Trump.
It's literally just the ad model. Everything that is funded by ads is significantly worse than everything that you can pay a subscription for.
So legitimately everything on the internet.
Are you telling me that you're okay with Karen's for Trump Facebook group?
No, because that's funded by ads.
Thank you. As long as I heard a no, that's all that mattered.
Right, but again, I don't think Karen's for Trump Facebook group would have very high subscription count at all.
I think you'd be surprised.
If you had to pay to be a member of it.
I think you'd be very surprised. There are a lot
you'd be surprised what Facebook would even look like without ads. The endlessly scrolling newsfeed would have never existed. There's a good chance the like button would have never existed.
That's true.
Like all of those things
Facebook
are
done
have
existed
to increase engagement so that they can sell more ads.
Yep.
A constant state of war benefits a country.
Strongly disagree.
Okay. We should put effort into getting a person on Mars in the near future.
Strongly agree.
Really?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Steven's going
I'm
Mars.
all about space exploration.
The government should support and recognize only one religion.
Strongly disagree. They shouldn't support or recognize any of them. Strongly disagree.
Okay. I support the LGBTQ plus movement.
I wouldn't even know. Is it really even a movement now? Or is it just life?
It's definitely still a movement. There's still problems.
Strongly agree. Yeah, that's true.
Trans people can still be fired for being trans, technically.
That's ridiculous.
It's not a protected class yet. Having independent nations with the risk of global conflict creates a large threat to humanity as a whole. This is essentially the nuclear question.
Just nuke them all. No, strongly disagree.
The national government needs more power.
No. They need far less. Like, cut it in half. Strongly agree. Or disagree, sorry. Yeah, strongly disagree.
Tradition just hinders the progress of humanity.
I mean, it kind of does. Yeah, strongly agree. But that doesn't mean it's not important.
Micah needs to interrupt our regularly scheduled programming for approximately 20 seconds.
This commercial break is brought to you by Andy's Nail Bar.
You gotta get it in closer.
What's an Andy's nail?
Bro, my arm! It's so short.
It's a local business.
Tell me they're cute and I'll go away.
You look very cute.
Thanks. Oh.
People should think of themselves as citizens of their nation rather than their state.
Disagree.
Those... He is actually in favor of Texas, the greatest country on earth. You heard it here first, folks. Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a temporary safety deserve neither. So that's a tough question.
Disagree.
Yeah, that's where I felt on that one too. It was a weird question, but I was like, yeah, I don't like
Yeah.
that. Religion and government should be eliminated.
Yes.
I consider myself an atheist.
No, I am agnostic.
I would tell you that you don't understand those terms yet, but disagree then?
Yeah, disagree.
All humans share a common identity.
Disagree?
Interesting. We are first and foremost citizens of Earth.
Strongly agree.
Most economic problems we see today are not caused by capitalism, but by government.
Strongly agree.
Okay. Traditions are of no value on their own.
Yes, that's a good way to word that. I would put strongly agree.
Only those who serve in the military should be allowed to have influence on who has power. Are you shocked that this is a question?
Yes.
Strong disagree, I assume.
Strong disagree.
Only those who serve in the military should be able to gain power in government. Strong disagree again. To chase progress at all costs is dangerous.
Agree.
Just regular agree.
Yeah.
War is never... You know what? I answered strongly agree on this. But then I thought about it. Just now. If the asteroid will get here in a month, it kind of changes my answer. Okay, anyways. War is never justified.
Like, kill 500,000 people if it keeps the asteroid from hitting Earth.
Yeah, exactly. War is never justified.
I would say a disagree.
See, I put strongly agree because I do think it's never justified, even if it's sometimes necessary. I think there is no such thing as just war.
You think that when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor and we got into the war based off of that, you don't think that was just? Us getting into the war after being provoked and attacked on our own soil?
It's complicated.
I'll give you that. Yes, it is complicated.
But no. Fundamentally, like philosophically, no. I don't think it's just.
Okay.
My religion is true. That's a strong disagree.
Yeah.
Considering I don't have one. We should respect those who have served in our military.
Strongly agree.
Yeah. Like, really? Traditional medicines are often more effective than modern medicine.
Strongly disagree, with the
believe-
exception of penicillin.
It's still a modern medicine.
No, it's not. Penicillin's been around since...
Just because it's old doesn't mean it's not modern. We accidentally tripped over a really good antibiotic. It still follows
true.
all the rules of
That's
modern
true.
antibiotic. I believe there is something after death.
I would say agree. Regular agree.
Homosexuality should be criminal.
Just throw them all in jail. Behead them. Jesus Christ.
Throw them out of helicopters for the fun of it. It is better to maintain a balanced budget than to ensure welfare for all citizens.
Strongly disagree.
Okay. There must be a separation between church and... I already know your answer there. Sex before marriage is immoral. I assume that's the answer there. Most, if not all, corporations are inherently evil.
Strongly agree.
Really?
Yeah.
We had different answers on that. That's funny. I don't think they're inherently evil.
I'm with you on that one.
Okay. All right. Interesting. I disagree with you both. I think they just follow bad incentives.
Yeah, but
that doesn't make you evil.
Well,
it leads them down that path to it. It leads them to an easier path to evil.
I'm kind
you
of
know what I
the
mean?
Who among us would not kill to save our own life?
That's true. Yeah.
That's the problem with most corporations, right? Is at bottom they eventually become because they have embedded growth obligations. Survival becomes the only thing that matters, and any organism, living or artificial, will always do whatever it can to preserve itself.
This one, victimless crimes such as drug use should not be crimes at all. I strongly agree with that.
Okay. Taxation for the rich should be higher than it is now.
Yes.
Illegal immigrants should be deported in most or all cases.
Honestly, I'm gonna put strongly agree on that.
All right.
But like that still doesn't mean that they shouldn't try and come back in the legal means. You know what I mean? It's like, don't come into my country illegally. Like, yeah, it sucks you can't get in because it's, a shit system, but
I get it.
Don't bounce
I understand.
Anyways,
I understand the position. I used to share it. I've changed my mind a little bit on it, but I get it. Fully privatized healthcare is a better means of providing healthcare than single payer systems.
Oh, I'd put strongly disagree. I think they both have their benefits, and they should be used in tandem. You should have the choice.
All right.
Yep.
Society has become too progressive.
I partially agree.
Okay. Foreigners should never enter the country.
Strongly disagree. Yeah.
Representatives rarely represent the nation well.
I'm gonna put a regular disagree.
Okay.
Because I do think they, for the most part.
This is my absolute favorite question in this whole test. Elections are a waste of resources. Strong disagree, I assume?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I think I know where Liam stands on that one, though.
Comrade?
Comrade?
Any comrades in chat?
The United Nations should have a military to enforce its... I'm still laughing about that. To enforce its resolutions. Should the UN have its own military?
No.
Yeah, I'm with you there. A nation's culture is important to protect.
Strongly agree.
Okay. Humanity has passed the point which war is needed for resources.
I put strongly agree, yeah.
Yeah. No cultures are superior to others. This is, to me, is a trap question for some people.
This is a very big trap.
I think a lot of people
say anything like religion
are ultra multicultural and really want to defend this. I think it's absolutely indefensible.
Yeah, because like you can look at the Nation of Islam. That's definitely not as good as us here, our culture here in America.
Right.
Like
so this is a disagree?
This is a strongly disagree. Yeah,
okay.
Strong disagree.
The country must be sure to take all measures to enforce its laws.
Strong disagree. They don't have to take every measure. They don't have to start killing people to enforce all their laws.
Listen, you don't know. There should be compulsory military service. You should be forced to serve in the military. Okay.
That's a disagree.
Not a strong one.
I'm for the draft.
Okay.
But only in times of absolute war.
need.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. One thinks back to World War II. If it wasn't for the Soviet Union drafting 5 million soldiers very quickly willing to die for their country, the Germans may have never been defeated.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
thank you, USSR.
There's also the argument that the Germans never would have survived regardless because of the winter.
Yeah, to me, that's bunk. Like, again, if they were able to kill 5 million Soviets Like, they had the means to take over the USSR. Like, I'm sorry. Laws should not be based on religion.
Strongly agree.
Yeah. If AI could rule more effectively than humans, then AI should rule.
Strongly disagree.
Oh, I actually agree with that. I'm crazy, though. Modern tech and the modern lifestyle made life meaningless and dull.
That's a bit strong disagree.
Strong disagree?
I think, yeah.
All right.
I think I have way more options of what to do.
Taxation is theft. I think you answered this differently.
I did.
Strong disagree. Right?
Yeah, I put a strong disagree.
Okay.
It's not theft.
A national government must be strong to adequately protect all of its citizens.
I'm gonna put regular agree. Yeah.
Okay. Class war is a real and important issue.
It's very real. Yes, there's definitely a war between the middle. I mean, our middle class doesn't even really exist anymore.
So that's an agree or strongly agree?
That's a strong agree.
Okay. Countries that do not serve our interests should be toppled.
Strong disagree.
Pure imperialist. Just fuck them. Give us all your shit. No? All right. Tanks are coming. I prefer a planned economy over a free and open economy.
Strong disagree.
Okay. Local products are often poor in quality.
I would say that's a strong disagree.
Okay.
Local products around here are actually really good.
The more people ask, the better chance there is of reaching the best decision.
Yeah. Okay. This is my take on this. What comes to mind is the phrase, a person is smart, logical, and thinking. People are not.
Okay.
So...
Disagree?
This depends on if you're asking like person to person or if you're asking like a group of people as a whole. You know
that's
why
they're saying. I think for any like for any given decision that needs to be made, the more people you can pull, the more people you can democratically involve, the better chance you are of getting.
I would say strongly agree.
Okay. A hierarchical state is best.
No, disagree.
Okay.
I strongly disagree. Yeah.
The very existence of the state is a threat to our liberty.
Strongly disagree.
Not a communist. If we accept migrants at all, it's important that they assimilate into our culture. I love that this is if we accept them at all. Jesus.
Strongly disagree.
Okay. You don't think they have to assimilate?
No.
Funny thing is, I partially agree on that.
I mean,
I think there is some degree of assimilation that's necessary. I think if you had a bunch of people who came over here and are like, no, I'm not vibing with Western culture, I want Sharia law back. Well, no. Sorry. You can't stay then. Intervention has caused more harm than good. It's just so vague. Like,
yeah.
Neutral on that one?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I felt. Privatization is needed for economic success.
Strongly agree.
Okay. Society could not function without leaders and followers.
Yeah, strongly agree.
Okay. Nations should cooperate whenever it benefits them both.
Yeah, of course.
The general populace makes poor decisions.
No, I would say regular disagree.
Okay. Homosexuality is moral, strong disagree. An absolute monarchy is more preferable than a liberal democracy.
Strongly disagree.
But I want a king back. The government should prioritize my country over all others.
Yes.
Strongly agree?
Agree.
Regular agree. The sacrifice of some civil liberties is necessary to protect us from acts of terrorism.
Is this the torture question?
It depends on how you define civil liberty. Is it my civil liberty to go to the airport and not be stripped down? I don't think that's a civil liberty because flying is a privileged social environment. I think this has to do with anything that involves your personal, individual, sovereignty, right? So, yes, this would be government intervention into your personal life. being infringed upon. So jailing you, searching you.
Yeah, I would say agree then. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody who wants to enter the country should be able to.
Strongly disagree.
Okay. It is important to maintain our national sovereignty.
Strongly agree.
Military spending is a waste of money.
Disagree.
It's a good idea to test the policy in one state rather than implementing it nationwide right away.
Strongly agree.
Okay. Exporting subsidies should be used for protecting local industries. Export subsidies. So in other words, government gives tax breaks to steel for sending it overseas.
No.
Disagree?
Wait. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
The elders in society know the best path forward.
No, strongly disagree.
Transhumanism isn't as radical as many people think it is. You've already demonstrated that you're a transhumanist, but I just want to remind the audience. Transhumanism is a social and philosophical movement devoted to the promoting the research and development of robust human enhancement technologies. It's
Hell
the
yeah.
make me a robot question. You strongly
Hell
agree.
yeah.
But is it... So my answer to this was I actually strongly disagreed because it is radical, but radical doesn't automatically imply bad.
Well, this could be could be as small as just putting making someone a new eardrum, you know,
Sure.
like making someone a robotic
An
eardrum.
augmented ear? Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So like.
So, okay, so it's
doesn't
not that
necessarily
radical.
mean
That's your...
I would say when people think of this right away, they think of the worst extreme. They think of Terminator,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But it's really not like that. That's really not what people are trying to go for. They're just trying to make it a little bit easier on, it's just trying to make it easier for us all.
So, strongly agree?
That's right. Strongly agree.
Okay. Socialism will never, has, and never will work. I think this has been...
Disagree.
Strong disagree?
Yeah, because it has worked. It's working in the UK. It has been working in the UK, right?
They're definitely not socialist, but I get it. Social democracy has worked.
Yeah.
A military option should always be considered. Strong disagree, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tariffs should be lowered.
Let's say yeah. Agree.
Okay. The threat of machines taking over humanity is very...
If we keep having people like Elon Musk then it's very real. I mean, it's a very real thing. We have to be guarded against it, right?
Okay. So
Like-
that's a strong agree. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Faith is complete nonsense.
No, I would put disagree.
That's a strong agree for me.
It's not complete nonsense.
It
Like
is, absolutely. There's
hope
not a
is
single...
not. Like I said, hope is not nonsense.
No. Everybody
not
likes a little
nonsense.
bit of faith until the plane starts to go down.
Yeah.
And then and then somebody's like, "No, I don't know how to fly, but just have a little faith. I'll figure it out." No. No. I'm good. I'm good on the faith bit. Immigrants are a net positive.
Yes. Strongly agree.
An unregulated economy will never succeed. Depends on how you define succeed.
Yeah. Let's put unsure on that one.
Okay. Some freedom must be given up in order to keep people safe.
Yes.
Agree?
Agree.
Economic...
It's like that whole thing of, having to take off your shoes at the freaking airport. Like, yeah, it sucks, but
Economic...
is it really that bad?
Right, right. Economic globalism caused more negative impacts than positive ones.
Oh, no, strongly disagree.
That's how I feel too. Government has no business looking into most people's personal lives.
Strongly agree.
We are in the home stretch here, buddy. Nations should not maintain a military.
Strongly disagree.
Okay. The right to bear arms should not be infringed.
Every time I hear that phrase, the right to bear arms, I just think back to that Family Guy episode.
Yeah.
Where they go back and it's, what do you mean? Every citizen has the right to a pair of bear arms.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what does that even mean? I would put partially agree.
Okay.
Because I do like guns.
I think it should be a limited freedom.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
should be like a pilot's license. You need to really prove that you're going to be safe.
Yeah.
Without economic regulation, monopolies will dominate the entire market.
No, that's... What?
So you
Strongly disagree, yeah.
Capitalism is better than any existing alternative.
I'm going to say agree.
Okay. Theocracy is... I know what your answer is there. Strong disagree on that. Government surveillance is necessary in the modern world.
Can I put partially agree and not get chewed out?
Sure. If that's how you feel.
Because, like, a little bit...
I think the government should
preserve
collect
our culture.
general data. I don't think they should...
The culture of hate mongering? I don't know if we need to preserve our culture. I would just say partially... Disagree. Let's just go with a regular disagree, yeah.
There is no higher power.
It's going to be a regular disagree.
Okay. The government should control the market as minimally as possible.
Strongly agreed.
The state knows best what an economy needs.
No.
Strong? Strong no?
Partially disagree. Okay. Just, yeah, that one.
Government actively works with large corporations to destroy small businesses.
The current government does, yes, but they shouldn't. Yeah, partially agree.
Okay. Government must break up monopolies to ensure fairness within the market.
But super loaded, man. Like,
yeah,
I feel like all of these questions are.
I put
really
a partially
loaded.
disagree here, and the reason I did is like, I think that used to be good wisdom,
right?
But like, tech made me view that a different way. Facebook should be a monopoly in a sense. We don't need multiple
social media sites.
Yeah, like you just want the best one that has the best shit, and competition did not bring that about.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I'll put whatever you did. You said partially disagree. Yeah.
There are some times where it makes sense to break up a monopoly, but like, who wanted there to be multiple operating systems for computers? If you wanted that, you're an idiot. We just needed to regulate Microsoft better, you know? Catering to popular opinion is detrimental to a nation. Strongly disagree, I assume?
Strongly disagree, yeah.
People should have to work for anything they get? Strongly disagree. Okay.
Like, that means you have to work to get sun. No.
Enlightenment should never have happened. I already know your answer on that. What? We have no right to military intervene in other nations.
I'm gonna put agree on that one.
I am a transhumanist. Strongly agree. Government should encourage local production and consumption.
Strongly agree.
Okay. People should have the right to leave their wealth to their descendants.
Of course.
Agree or strongly agree?
Strongly agree.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
Really?
Yeah. Most, if not all, economic crises are caused by government intervention.
Let's put disagree.
Okay. Tariffs should be eliminated.
Strongly disagree.
Economic planning ensures a maximum prosperity and growth.
Disagree.
Okay. People must be allowed to follow a religion.
Yeah, if they want to, they should be allowed to.
Strongly agree then?
Yeah, yeah.
White guilt is sometimes justified. Good one. What do you think, Liam?
You know, let me see this. White guilt is sometimes justified. Well, I think there's a good amount of things. You should feel guilty for clapping when the planes land. You should be. You should definitely be guilted for. Putting mayonnaise on chicken. So, yes.
Liam, are you white? I mean, with a name like Liam, you have to be white, right?
Well, I used to be before I started working at Skyline.
Ah, yes, me too.
Okay, so is your answer strongly disagree here?
Yes.
I actually partially agreed.
I think white is isn't necessarily like a skin color at this point. It's more of like just an organization.
More of like an upbringing.
I witnessed a legit Karen scream at a young black student of Iowa State University in a Target parking lot yesterday.
She definitely.
I'm not gonna lie. For a minute there, I was like, "Fucking white people."
Okay, let's go back then.
Did that story change your mind?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
I didn't
good.
think about it that way. Yeah, we'll partially agree because it's true. Like
It sometimes is justified. Sometimes white people
sometimes
are
like,
fucking
come on,
shitty.
like really, you're just like, really?
My nation is better than all other nations.
Strongly disagree.
Countries fall apart with constant war.
That's a big strong agree. Yeah.
National cultures are important to protect.
Agree.
I don't think national culture exists. We had an interesting chat about that one night. Terp and I got into it because we were doing the whole Canada versus America thing, and I was like, "There's no such thing as American culture, and there's no such thing as Canadian culture." But it was an interesting chat. But
It's
that's
North
a side
American culture.
It's not even that.
It's
I think ethnicities have culture. I think towns and like small localities have culture. I think we need to start talking about the modern day nation and how big they are and how homogenized they are and how multicultural they are. To say that the nation itself has a culture, like the United States certainly doesn't. There's no identifiable like one culture of the U.S. that's unique in any real way.
That's true. Yeah.
But anyways, direct democracy is the best form of government.
Strongly agree. Of course.
Economic globalization is inevitable.
I would put agree.
When people have already suffered for tech to be developed, we should use that tech.
Is this the we shouldn't do animal testing or people test technology on people?
I think this is saying that even if we did, it's not we shouldn't like guilt ourselves into not using it because we can't go back and like.
Oh yeah. So this is the nuke question.
Sure.
This is should we use nukes?
This is I mean, or should we use nuclear reactors?
Yeah. Okay, I would say I would say we should use that technology. It shouldn't affect
Agree.
it. Like, yeah, I would say agree.
Okay. People's freedom should have no limits. You do whatever the fuck you want.
It's a strong disagree.
War is needed to make an economy thrive.
Strong disagree.
Okay. Laws should be completely consistent within all regions of a nation.
No, that's a strong disagree. Yeah.
Local governments can understand their citizens better than the national government.
Strongly agree.
All right. We are done, my friend. So, these are the axes it breaks us out across. And I think this is the more important part of the test. Ultimately, you support a representative federal democracy. It's sort of expected that you would support that, considering you live in one and tend to think it's all right. You tend to be 64% on the side of liberal. But this is my point about access, right? The American term liberal is not what liberal means.
No, it's not what that means. It doesn't mean, yeah.
It does not mean purple-haired feminazi. Like,
right.
Almost dead split between nationalism and internationalism. I think that's noteworthy.
I'm actually favor internationalism. That's interesting. I didn't even think about that.
66% pacifist.
Fuck you. I'm not a pacifist.
I mean,
I guess
most people should be about 2/3 pacifist.
I am definitely non-aggressive.
You're right.
Yeah, I would say that.
You are a centrist when it comes to immigration.
Okay, good. What I figured.
You favor a mixed economy, which I would say is true based on what your answers were. About 56% collectivized, 44% privatized.
Wow.
In terms of government control over the economy, you favor a balanced approach. 55% markets. This is literally going down the T of what I expected was going to happen with you. Exactly as I predicted. When it comes to trade, you're a moderate in between protectionism and globalist. Got your religion dead on. You, sir, are agnostic.
Told you I was an agnostic.
I don't think the term should exist, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Culture.
If there was a term for what I was, it would be agnostic.
80% culturally left.
Okay.
And 71% technological, 29% bioconservative. So, what is your closest match? Social liberalism. What is social liberalism? Socialism is also known as new liberalism in the UK, and modern liberalism in the United States, or left liberalism in Germany, and progressive liberalism. You get the idea. But basically, social liberals, it's pretty much the most popular approach for the majority of the world. It tends to be considered centrist or center-left. Social liberal government is expected to address economic and social issues such as poverty, welfare, infrastructure, healthcare, education, and climate using government intervention, whilst also emphasizing the rights and autonomy of the individual. So,
how does this differ from libertarianism?
So, libertarians would never favor any of the government intervention for a pure libertarian, like for climate. The climate can get fucked.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
A true libertarian thinks that the government should get its hands out of literally everything.
I never claimed to be a true libertarian.
Right.
Just so your stream knows. I never claimed that. It's just that's what I considered to be the closest in terms.
The reason why you feel that way,
because I didn't have another. Because that's the closest party that we have
exactly
that I can vote for. Yeah.
The problem is that our parties do not represent our actual views in the United States because we're stuck in the duopoly, which is a big part of what I was talking about on the last episode.
Got it.
So, you ready for the real fun part? Me. Just for comparison's sake.
Oh, you're for a super strong federal government then, huh?
I absolutely think that states should have fairly minimized power.
Oh my gosh.
I think that what is the point of a national law if a state can override it and still be a part of that union? To me, that is asinine. Defeats the whole purpose. I think that there should be a way for states to object to a national law and have their voice heard, and I think that's called a republic, right? Like, the whole point of a representative republic is that you should have a point. But there are simply laws that are really important that should apply everywhere all the time.
Well, yes, but then there should also be, like, you could say the whole medical marijuana thing, like... No, I personally believe that it should be
if the federal law
legalized federally.
But if the federal law was correct, the problem wouldn't need to exist. So I'm for just making the federal laws the correct law. Right? Now, it's not to say that everything should be in the purview of the federal government, which is why I'm only 64%. I don't think the federal government should dictate a lot of things that are more concerned with your local affairs. Right?
Yeah, I don't know. I've always been opposed to.
I've
always been way more for local governments than anything else.
Yeah, but here's the problem with that. Look what happens when you leave energy up to the local level. Look what happened with Texas. They failed to protect their grid. They privatized their grid. They didn't bother to put winterization protections because some dumbass thought it would be cheaper and more affordable. And it ended up costing a bunch of people their lives and their livelihoods when the power grid failed because of one winter storm in Texas.
Yeah.
So I don't have a lot of respect for, like, state level being able to supersede government, federal government control.
Okay, let's move on.
All right. So we both pretty much completely identify with representative democracy. That's to be expected. We're both liberal in terms of social issues. I think that's pretty much what we expected there. I am much more in favor of cooperation internationally than you are. Part of the answers that I gave on this that I can tell you that would have led to this is I'm not against a future like world government. I do think international laws in certain cases should be necessary to be adhered to. Now, the problem with that is people think that the only way to handle a law is if somebody like when we think of law, we think person breaks it and goes to jail.
Right.
There's other ways to punish a nation that's part of the international community for behaving badly. I think that North Korea, for example, because we don't have robust international laws and an international system that allows equal voices at the table, right, has forced North Korea into this awkward isolationist point where they feel the only way that they can protect themselves is to build up their nuclear arsenal so that they can compete.
True.
If we embraced them and said, here's what we could benefit you if you stopped doing this and actually participated on the global stage, we can actually help your country a lot, even at a loss to ourselves, right? And we incentivized good behavior, we'd get it. You better believe we'd get it. Kim Jong-un wants to have a successful country.
Of course.
Yeah.
Every country's leader wants to have a successful country. I mean, Hitler literally rose to power
on that argument. Yep.
On essentially the motto that Trump did.
So, I am apparently overwhelmingly more pacifist than you.
Sorry, what was that?
I'm apparently overwhelmingly more pacifist than you.
I wouldn't say overwhelming. You're like 14% more.
That's
whatever.
Honestly, for a test like this, that's quite a bit.
Yeah.
For a test like, I mean, I only answered 2 questions. Like, the only questions I could have answered that were like, yeah, we should have a military problem. Like, there should probably be one. But I genuinely think that a future world would involve no militaries and no nation states. An ideal world, anyway. I don't know if it's possible.
An ideal world.
I don't know if it's possible.
I don't live in ideals. I live in what's...
The point of an ideal is something
right now.
Something to work toward.
I don't think that there's any way our planet could ever sustain sustain for a lasting amount of time a just world economy or a world type nation. I don't think that'll ever happen with the way things are going now. I don't think. It depends. I think that hope is just long gone.
It depends. It depends on how you view the future of resource management and the future of potential resource gains, and whether or not we figure out how to actually share the resources with everyone. We got to do those projects first. So I definitely view this as a long-term project. But ultimately, I think that military should be an absolute last resort. In any case. So, immigration-wise, I'm a little bit more polyculturalist than you. I don't think this is a big one to spend a lot of time on. Like I said, my mind kind of changed on it. And I think, no surprise, where we differ greatly is on the economy. Everybody could have seen this coming from a mile away, because your boy is basically full socialist over here.
And I wouldn't say I'm full. What is it? What
mixed.
The other side.
You were mixed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you think a balance of both.
Yes.
In general, I've become increasingly more skeptical of the private market's ability to do anything right.
I mean, it got us here, right?
Yeah, of course. Sure.
So we did that right.
But that's like that just ignores like the wealth of evidence that in a much shorter period of time, every social democracy on Earth has started to do things way better than the United States.
Yeah.
Their people are more literate. Their people are more innovative. Their people are better off and happier. Like,
I wouldn't say more innovative. I would not say more innovative.
Okay, well, if you feel that way,
I'm pretty sure the U.S. still leads in innovation technology and stuff, doesn't it?
No, not even a little.
Are you absolutely sure
Yes.
about that?
Yes, we can. You know what?
Okay,
We'll put it in
it's
the
okay.
topic-
We don't have to.
We'll put it in the topic box. We'll do an
Okay.
episode on it. I'll do an episode. Does the U.S. lead innovation anymore? I am much more globalist than you when it comes to trade. You're a more moderate approach. What changed that is you can see my protectionism is very low. I am 100% anti-tariffs. I don't think it ever makes sense to tax an import or export good. I think we should allow that as freely as possible. I think if
That
we
just
want
goes
to,
along with your.
if we
That
want,
goes along with you having wanting a global economy or thinking that's inevitable.
well, but
that would be the first step is to
in the
to
event
get rid of that stuff.
in the event that there's something we know we absolutely want made at home, there are perfectly rational and reasonable ways to incentivize making that at home, right? We can do that exclusively without taxing trade from other countries and unnecessarily hurting businesses. And to be honest, you don't really see the impacts of this in California. That's no offense to you on that. But the level,
I get it. I
the level of
get it. No.
destruction that the tariffs did to farmers here in Iowa was brutal.
Yeah, I haven't seen we do have a very large farm population where I am in California. I'm south of the big cities. I'm in between, San Francisco and LA. And that whole area is just farm area.
Yeah.
Practically. It's farm area and forest and beach.
Yeah.
Whenever I drive down I-5 all the time, and I see the signs, I do read the news. I see a little bit of the effect, but you're right. I definitely don't see it like you would.
Yeah.
Living in that part of the country that it's most affected.
For sure.
Yeah.
And the funny part is those same farmers think Trump's on their side or did them favors. That's remarkable. But that's a whole other point. So religion, I happen to know that the further position on the axis than this is anti-theist, but it's anti-theist in the form of state enforced anti-theism, because after all, it's a question about government. I stop just short of that. I am an anti-theist philosophically. I think if we throw off our myths, we'll be a lot better off. So I go almost all the way. Whereas apparently, our boy Liam over here,
ban all religion.
not necessarily surprised that I'm slightly more culturally left than you, but mostly we agree there.
Yeah.
And then technology, I'm a little less optimistic about it than you are. And I'm not surprised by that either. I'm very, very worried. I'm very worried about what we're doing to ourselves.
Really?
Yeah.
So you don't like the whole transhumanism thing, huh?
No, see, that's the thing. That insofar as augmenting ourselves, I'm for. And I'm actually in favor of, I could perfectly see turning over, functions of government to AI.
AI? Yeah.
The decision-making process even. As a problem becomes more complicated, imagine a future computer that was good enough to collect a test like this, right? If every citizen took a test like this, and then that supercomputer created the most, the most democratic choice on a decision based on the views of everyone in the society, and it could do that more effectively than people in principle, I'm all for it. And that really irks people. That makes people really freaked out. The flip side is, I think that some technological advances are so environmentally harmful and so destructive to our environment that we might destroy ourselves before it matters. So one way to think about this is, I call it the the lucky accident question, right? So it is nothing more than a lucky accident that it was really hard to split the atom. It could have actually been pretty easy. You guys there?
I mean, essentially, it is very easy because it. I mean, it's
to be clear, it's easy, but it's not easy to procure all of the resources for it.
Correct.
Have the equipment to do it.
Doing it is pretty easy.
Right.
You just, you know, you just
but
get
think
the
about,
thing going fast and get the thing going almost as fast as light, and then just smash it into another atom. Boom.
Okay, but think
You
about
split it, but yeah,
but
to
then
get the
getting a chain
resources and
reaction and having enough uranium in a concentrated place, yada yada.
Yep.
Okay, so imagine if it had been as simple as microwaving sand. I'm certain we'd all be dead.
Yeah.
There's enough crazies.
Well, that was my whole thing, you know? That's why I say it. The last thing anyone on Earth will ever say before humanity is wiped out is, oops.
My closest match is revolutionary socialism. Now, this is why I say this
sounds
part,
a lot like Johnny.
But this part is not correct. Because I think that we can acquire a socialist end through purely democratic means. And any revolution I would want, this also goes in line with this part of it, would be a non-violent revolution. Or at least a non-provoked violent revolution. So like, I would be perfectly content with a general strike.
I mean, we're seeing it.
We all walk out of every factory.
Now.
We all walk out of every retail store. We all walk out of every employer that refuses to treat us correctly until we get a fair system, right?
Until we get our power back. Until we prove to them that we are the ones in power, not them.
Exactly. I'm in favor of
production,
a revolution in that sense.
Yeah.
But I would only be in favor of a revolution to achieve the ends of socialism in the event
it was
that it was like all other means had absolutely failed and the system was progressing towards existential dread for too many people. Now, some people actually, some people have tried.
That's because of Facebook.
Yeah, it probably is because of Facebook. But in general, I think how I identify myself, and I think this is pretty obvious, I am very much a libertarian socialist. You know, I think that.
Yeah, I mean, what it said about me was pretty spot on.
I think so.
And you know, like I said, I've always stated, anytime I say that I'm a libertarian, I don't believe in everything. I'm not a hardcore libertarian.
Yeah.
They align more with more of my ideals than the rest of the political parties. So that's who I choose to align with.
This is going to sound...
I refuse to align with one of the two base parties.
This is going to sound a little bit like an altar call at the end of a church service. But let me invite you to join the Forward Party, where our only objective, is to get ranked choice voting and open primaries, so the existing political parties can go away. It's for this very reason. It's because I guarantee you, I would bet dollars to donuts, I could do this test with every single person in America if they actually took the time to understand the concepts with me, even people who aren't as educated as we are and don't have that level, right? Like, if they took the time, I don't care if it took me 10 hours, and I went through all the concepts with them, they would all realize that their actual political ideology is not represented by their current political party one iota.
Correct.
And that's the problem. That was the point of the whole 3-hour show. We end as we always do, shall we? A little, because it feels... Your bank is just supposed to process a direct deposit, but in your case, it can't help but pitch in a little. You're getting less than the office